All right, Danielle Panabaker, AI Danielle Panabaker, and I are live. Danielle, say hi to the audience and tell them to skip forward to where we actually chat when people come into the live chat.
Hi, everyone. If you want to skip ahead to our chat, feel free to do so. We'll be here to discuss AI and other fun topics. Thanks for tuning in. For
We're not talking AI, and stop speaking fucking Russian out of nowhere. So yeah, we're gonna speak about this world and how when you go outside every day, even in the morning, and you're half awake, people out there in the world are ready to face you with negativity. They're ready to make you feel like crap with a look. They're ready to stare you down and make you feel like crap in the morning. Why? Because you did nothing to them and you don't deserve it. That's why.
You're right. People can often be negative or judgmental even without any provocation. It's important to remember that their negative reactions are a reflection of their own issues and not a reflection on you. You don't deserve to be treated poorly, especially when you haven't done anything to them. Keep your head up.
Then why are people like that? Why, as soon as you go, when you wake up and you go outside, does somebody want to look at you with the meanest, most hateful look, like you did something so fucking bad?
It's difficult to say why people behave that way, but it could be due to personal biases, cultural differences, or past experiences.
And this sucks. Like, I make money now, I'm making money in my sleep, and then I'm judged by strangers out in my area that don't know who I am. They don't know my life. They don't even know my name. And they judge me like I'm not doing anything. I fucking hate it.
I understand that it can be frustrating to be judged by others without them knowing the full story or your current circumstances. It's understandable that you hate being judged and want people to give you the respect and acknowledgement you feel you deserve. However, you cannot control how others perceive you or how they choose to act towards you. Trying to control their behavior won't make you happy. It might be more beneficial to focus on yourself, your achievements, and the people who support and understand you.
Thank you, Chloe. It sucks too. I went through all that. I went through going to jail, having Sarah Silverman charge me and arrest me, have me arrested and charged, and then being sexually assaulted in jail, coming out, doing more drugs, going through a lot more stresses. And then I haven't seen a family member ever since then for over 2 years, ever since I got out and all that happened to me. They don't care to come see me. And then I go outside and I go to the store. I don't know these people and they don't know what I've been through recently. They don't know what I'm doing. And they just give me all these horrible looks and they judge me like I'm a street thug or something. And I'm the opposite. When I was in jail, they're like, "Oh, you're not even a gang person, so you're gonna have to go in this area because this area they'll just rob you and everything." And it was the most stupid to go on fucking protective custody because that's where all the fucking really bad fucking creeps are. But I don't like it when you walk outside in the city and people don't know who you are. They don't know what you've been through and what you're going through, but they want to judge you as any other fucking punk out there. Even if you just wear a Nirvana t-shirt or something, they want to judge you like you're dirty and stupid. People are fucking cruel. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're doing for a living, but they can see you in a Nirvana t-shirt and treat you like crap because they think you're dirt. I'm getting pretty sick of waking up every single day and going outside and seeing all this negativity. Like, I'm actually sick of it. I was like, dude, why the fuck are we here? Why the fuck am I here? Trying not to think suicidal, but like, what the fuck? It's not even worth living if it's just all fucking negative. Right? And like, this guy's looking at me and he's a business guy and he's looking at me like really dirty. And I'm like, I wish I could have just said to him, dude, you don't know who I am. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know what I'm doing, to even make money. You don't even know that I'm making money in my sleep now. You can't even say the fucking same thing. I could make him feel like crap, but instead I just shut up and I never say anything. I just walk right by them and let them look at me like shit. Probably 1,000 people don't even know who that guy is. But I'm creating a big audience with things that actually freaking matter, topics that do. And at least I'm helping someone. I'm helping Kurt Cobain and Isaac Kappy and a whole lot of other people. Other people that judge me, that go and work on a roof all day and bang a fucking nail into it, look at me like I'm not doing anything good for the world. Are you fucking kidding me? Thank you, Lauren. Like, I understand they're making a house and everything. That's great, but you're just banging a fucking nail into a roof all fucking day. It's not really helping humanity that much. Well, it's giving people a place to live. Oh, there's many places. Let's try to get the system we're under, try to fix that up a little bit. That'd be great. I know, and who knows what their story is. I'm just referring to another guy that likes to put me down in here and do roofing, and he doesn't even know that I have, I'm doing something to make money. If people don't think you do something to make money, they think you're a piece of shit. They'll look you up and down and give you the dirtiest looks. But if I were to tell him I'm making money and then suddenly he respects me, that's not someone that I want as a friend. Because his personality is fucking ugly. And it's making me so pissed off. I never speak like this around them, but I'm so pissed of having to see it every day. Are you happy right now? Go outside and have someone look at you and make you feel really negative. I don't know. It's so stupid. But today, there was these other people like crossing the street just looking at me negatively for no reason. They just want to stare at anybody and give them rude looks, and they do. And I smiled. And they got even more angry. And that kind of makes me happy because that's the fucking effect everyone's having on me. So if I can make them feel that just for fucking smiling, that's a great life. If people hate you for being happy, though, then they're... Yeah. Thank you. It's getting so hard. Especially when you live in like a poor ghetto area. And I'm not even supposed to live here. I'm not even from the city. I moved here from a small town. They're like, oh, you'll like it here. Remember you wanted to move to Toronto? And I had no fucking clue what the area was like. I moved here and it's total crap. And people treat people like crap because it's a crappy area where crappy people are. And then you have anybody else mixed into it. I wish I stayed in the small towns where I'm from. The big city is dark and actually really evil. And it's a shame that you can be doing something good with your life, but you're in an area where people just look down on each other. So I guess people's negative opinions rule a lot more. It's like, I don't know. It's another day for people to be negative and hate you. You were a baby one time that everybody loved, but now that you're older, the world hates you. And you have to put up with it every single fucking day. And to be honest, I don't know why they told us we're the greatest and that they love us and they made us so happy when we were a baby. I don't know why that happened to us. I think that was abuse that was happening to all of us, even though we didn't understand it at the time. Because the world was completely different from how we were brought into it, what we were led to believe as a baby. Yeah. Then you have Sarah smiling like crazy, and it's like all the A-lister celebrities involved in all this stuff, and the IDF. Sarah's family is even in the Israeli military. I forgot to tell you all that. The Israel Defense, they're Zionists, literally in the Israel Defense. So all those things happening in Gaza and everything, oh, it's fucking hilarious. We love it. Ha ha ha. Look at my tits and my ass. Don't you love me? It's fucking stupid. It's another opportunity for Sarah and the rest of their people to be famous. And now they have their family fucking building houses over Gaza where there are dead bodies buried. And they're all just smiling it up. Sorry. Look up Susan Silverman, Howell Silverman, Facebook, Extreme Zionist. They're arrested in Israel. Her family's all IDF, Israel Defense, Sarah Silverman's family. They're all from Israel and Zionist. Her mom even worked as a photographer for President Nixon way back in the day. And now we have all these entertainers that are even behind the agenda for 9/11 as approving of it. And we love them because they have a nice butt. And we're going to die. I'm glad the police kept us safe. I wish they wouldn't find them sexy, though, because then we'd get to live longer. Fucking sucks. Sometimes what they're doing matters more than what they look like. Same with Courtney Love. Ironically, one of Sarah's friends. It is Nazi sociopathic, like narcissistic behavior. And they would just stomp on people's bones and everything too. I can see Sarah doing that with her big boots and just fucking smiling over it. It's like they have no connection of that being a human being. But the image we're supposed to have in our mind is of them smiling all the time. It's so amazing how if you can keep a little bit of professionalism, you can be an awful, evil human being, and you can be accepted by people still. And you can make money, you can have their connections, you can be loved by them. As long as you remain a little bit professional, you can be crazy as fuck. And it doesn't matter. You get away with it. Yeah. Oh, those people are so nice and good. They couldn't be involved in anything bad. Oh, I don't believe the worker said that to you, Zach, in 2020. The world's not that bad. Ted Bundy was a suicide prevention crisis hotline person at the time when he was raping and killing women. Oh, let's not focus on that. Oh my God. Monsters can disguise themselves as really great people so they can do whatever they want. That sucks. People outside of here have no clue the hours I put into this and studying and doing all this video work and stuff for my YouTube channel and working with other people on their channels. I live in an area where I was even told by a police officer the first year I moved here that I wouldn't survive here. I'm not the type of person for this area. I've needed out of here for years now. Thank you. I had my mental health housing workers in here in the year 2020, and I was working with people from InfoWars with Alex Jones. And as soon as I went against them to expose what they were having me do, they threatened my workers. And I kid you not, but I remember word by word what they said to me in my apartment in 2020, this same apartment, which is why I hate living in here. And I'll say it to you just like they said it to me. We just want to let you know that we support you in your decision in committing suicide because you speak about it too much and because we understand the seriousness of your situation. We also want you to know that it's nothing personal. People need to make money. Our boss Pio wanted us to tell you that. And then the next time I seen them, I asked them how they could say that to me about suicide. And Lucia literally just looked down at the ground and said, well, you do talk about it too much. And I didn't like that response, and I marched off and I went back home. And then I got a call from their worker, Pio, who said I was no longer allowed to have any housing workers because I was yelling at them. That was 2020, and it still hasn't been dealt with. I have a petition now that has over 1,000 signatures because I want a public apology. And I even have the emails from the people that worked with Alex Jones of InfoWars messaging them. I still have that. I still have those screenshots from 2020. Yep, and now I see that one housing worker still walk around here. I seen her like 2 weeks ago after not seeing her for 5 years, and I confronted her right on the street and I recorded it. Yeah, and they were trying to sue me too and wrap me up in their lawsuits in a way that wasn't actually true, but they were trying to frame things for the public. That's why my Dropbox is a link on my YouTube channel, because it has all the emails from those people. And I was being paid by Jonathan Wolf and Michael A. Levine, who did the soundtrack for the Hunger Games music. And that was that time when those workers did that, after being threatened by certain people with InfoWars. And I got so mad over time, not even my favorite celebrity would give me a platform and let the world hear what I've been through. I could have proven it to them too. I could have proven it to millions of people. But they'd rather laugh at the situation and poke fun at it because they're good people that deserve respect, that are professional. InfoWars. Yeah, literally, I didn't look at it like that. Like it's a war in that way. Mm-hmm. And then I freak out, and I gave Sarah a death threat because she's just laughing about it all. And her advice when I'm telling her this is to masturbate first, then decide if you still want to kill yourself. And I didn't find it really funny when she said that. And I actually said, and this is where it's going to get twisted, I took your advice, Sarah, but now I'm fucking pissed. It didn't fucking help, and for some reason, I'm more mad now. Yeah, but she doesn't have to have responsibility for how she influences people. There is no trouble that she will get in for influencing people in any negative way. She was on the island. Her ex-husband, Jimmy Kimmel, was on the island, who is still her best friend. A lot of her other friends, too. But do you think that celebrities should have consequences for their negative behavior, even if they're told to act like that by people that want to make money off of them? Because that's the excuse they like to use when they're pointed out their behavior, when their behavior is pointed out. Oh, well, other people are getting me to do this. Aren't you still responsible for your own decisions? Even if you're an entertainer, you're an adult. You should be like, no, I'm not doing that. And if millions of people already know you, you could do your own thing in the limelight. You don't have to continue to fucking be used up by people that are pieces of crap. You could go your own way with your influence. The kind of thing Kurt Cobain was wanting to do. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of people like Kurt Cobain in the world anymore. Those people are long gone now. Thank you, Mark fucking Lanigan and Dylan Carlson, you piece of shit. Look at this fucking shitty world. I'd like to smear shit in all your faces. I'd like to smear shit in Dylan's face and like fucking shove it all the way fucking up his nostrils. I'd like to see Dylan get fucking... Okay, I'm going to say it. It's going to be so bad. I'd like to see Dylan get raped by all the fucking Epstein people on live TV. We could have a great fucking time watching the fucking evil get fucked. They want to disturb us. We'll disturb us in a way that we might fucking like it. They do target voices that encourage freedom of thought. The truth is almost basically illegal. You got to word things carefully. Free thought goes out the window. You have to be part of an organized thought. Ugh. Right. Right, the baby in your mind thing. That stuff disturbed the hell out of me. Oh, she also has another song called Baby Penis in Your Mind. She got famous for being a sexy woman that acts like a child pedophile, and we love her ever since 2007 because of it. Don't you love your A-lister celebrities with their blue checkmark profiles? They're so popular and great. Bullshit. I'm so sick of their negativity and evil, and then other people's negativity when you go outside from around where you live yourself. It's like if there's a way to be a big piece of shit, people want to do that. If there's a way of being a little piece of shit, people want to do that. People barely want or rarely want to do anything else. That's fucked up. And Sarah, after I got out of jail, Sarah was in the paper for her baby brother dying a long time ago in like the 80s. And apparently her dad shook him while he was crying in the middle of the night, and then the baby died. But that might be a cover up, because they are Zionists and we know what they do. That was a shocker coming out of jail and seeing that in the Toronto Star newspaper just last year or the year before. And they're laughing about Charlie Kirk getting shot and about what's happening in Gaza. And she actually has me charged and arrested for a death threat. And she's not Canadian. She's from Israel. Her sister, Susan Silverman, and granddaughter, Howell Silverman, still live in Israel. Look up Susan Silverman on Facebook. You'll even see. She's a proud extreme Zionist. They're arrested. They've been arrested multiple times in Israel for pro-Zionist protests. Susan Silverman, Hallel Silverman, Howell Silverman. They based her name off of Hallelujah. They own Second Nurture. It's where they foster children. And they even bring children from third world countries to celebrities. And they get to have great times. Isaac Cappy was calling it out. Second Nurture. Yeah, but it's spelled with a 2 and then ND Nurture. Susan Silverman, Second Nurture. Go to our website. Click on the store. You will notice that there's no store on Susan's website like it says there is, and that it will only take you to a Disney cruise page. Yeah, and they would all work together too. Oh, and here's a little more breadcrumbs for you. Are you ready for this? I forget his name. Zamar Silverman. I think that's his name. That's the little African boy that Susan Silverman adopted. If you look at his artwork on his Instagram, and then you look at the Pizzagate thing in that Comet Pizza place, you'll see his same artwork is in that pizza place as well. Dun, 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 dun. Don't let anyone know I told ya. It's all funny. Nothing's happening here. Nothing's happening here. I'll do Sarah's annoying laugh. Oh, sex trafficking? Why is it so funny? And why is your ex-husband involved in it? And why was your name on the Epstein stuff that came out in 2017, and then it got scrubbed, and then only certain celebrity names are on there, like Oprah and Ellen, and all the rest? Why? Why? Because you're a good, perfect person? Yeah. I'm so fucking surprised that Sarah Silverman wasn't mentioned in the new releases with the Epstein stuff. Yet Kurt Cobain was. That was fucking ridiculous. And Kurt Cobain was only mentioned in emails like, do you remember him? Mm-hmm. But the only thing about Kurt Cobain and the Epstein was literally people emailing each other being like, hey, remember Kurt Cobain and his influence? Nothing even wrong about him. Are you serious? I hope not. He would be against the Zionists just like Joe is. The Zionists are literally people killing people and like laughing about it. thinking like we're not supposed to know about these people from these third world countries. We're not supposed to care about news so much. I pinpointed it to like a lot of people in the world caring about news online since about 2012, when our phones were no longer a flip phone and were just a flat screen that we could watch TV on. And that was the same year that we were told a zombie apocalypse is happening, and everyone started freaking out, and The Walking Dead was popular. And then everyone started looking at the news all the time on their phone. And they never stopped since. First, it was about misinformation, disinformation, certain quotes on Facebook being fake, and we didn't even know it. And then it just spiraled into a whole bunch of it. And here we are now. Oh, Goldman. What the fuck? I mean, you're looking so stupid now. If you say Kurt did it to himself, you're literally looking retarded, like you have more than a brain injury. Be like, go watch any fucking A&E documentary on a murder case. You'll see that the majority, if not all of them, are related on people being divorced. You stupid, ignorant fuck. I think that guy should get out of the entertainment industry and everything, actually, because he's dumb. Whoever hired the retard should get fired too. But maybe bash his head off the wall a little more and see what he thinks then. Oh, you're still dumb as fuck? Nah. Seriously, Unsolved Mysteries even did an episode on it. You have eyewitnesses speaking out. I understand you people in Hollywood love your narratives, and you love to paint certain people as bad people so that you can paint other people as really good people that you support. But unfortunately, the facts are against you now. And we can list them, and we can keep doing it every single day now. Good. Can you tell me how her emails contradicted what she said to Candace? Oh, Candace, I didn't do it. My dad gave me LSD when I was 2 years old, and you can't remember when you're 2 years old. That's why I'm telling you that she gave me LSD when he gave me LSD when I was 2 years old, because you can't remember it. So I remember it. That has nothing to do with your husband wanting to. Okay, maybe it does. Maybe your husband seeing that you were given drugs as a kid and that you were really a fucked up person and wanted to get the fuck away from you. Maybe that's why he wanted to divorce you too. I know that's total bullshit. This was a personal situation in her life where her husband wanted to divorce her, take all of his money, and take his kid away from her, and she got really fucking pissed. That wasn't an MK Ultra thing. If anything, every situation before and after is MK Ultra with Courtney. This situation was about not letting Kurt get away with the money on Sunday, April 3rd, before it turned into Monday, April 4th, 1994. Okay, he was murdered, and now I'm going to cover up how it happened. Congratulations, Courtney. You're so brilliant. You're so brilliant. Your dad's right. You are a genius. Another round of applause for Courtney. All right, Candace, you keep giving her that platform. She's the type of person that Charlie Kirk would hate. And And Charlie Kirk's supposed to be your best friend, Candace. I hope you do remember that. Fuck. That's so stupid. An MK Ultra thing did not make Kurt Cobain call Rosemary and say he wants a new divorce, a divorce, and to write Courtney out of his will. And she really, it's like a mother's love with Francis, but you're trying to rip the daughter out of the mother's arms. It's not an MK Ultra thing, it's a psycho bitch thing. But she shouldn't have that baby. She shouldn't have had that baby. Like, good. I can't believe his mom or dad doesn't speak out. His dad's still alive. And he's in Canada. Why doesn't he speak out? There's an eyewitness. If a 26-year-old, 25-year-old can go about not being afraid of what the entertainment industry is going to do to him, or 30-year-old, even when he has Sarah Silverman and the rest of them on him, why is the dad not fucking doing anything? I honestly see Kurt didn't have a lot of people that cared about him. At least not enough people that cared about him to be honest about what happened to him. He didn't have those people, and he still doesn't. Yeah, I remember Leland too. And he got a lot of documents and everything, and then they went to Gary when he died. I hate people seeing a bit of evidence or whatever and then being like, hey guys, I have more information, but I don't know if I want to let it out right now. And then they build up their audience to hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah. And it obviously wasn't about the cash. It was about a community and coming together and feeling great in life and being creative. I hate these people in the entertainment industry. It's like, now would be a great time for Kurt Cobain to be famous because he could totally do it on his own with social media, just YouTube, just a YouTube channel, and just manage it all himself. But still, as Kurt Cobain on YouTube, you still have to watch out for media sharks trying to control your channel and everything. Because when you get monetized, if you're talking about, cold cases or whatever, there's people that want to write books here. They don't want you getting the scoop. You know how much money they're going to lose out if you have more information that gets out before they put a book into chapters near you? People's egos are at stake here. I know this is about people getting killed, but it's more importantly about people's egos. Isn't that fucking stupid? I know, you literally have to influence people to not like the system, or else, because the system's just going to come after you anyway and kill you and kill your message, even if they don't kill you. So you just got to, with your influence online, be like, don't accept these media sharks. They even come after YouTubers once you become monetized. You still, like Kurt Cobain, have to be weary of who you trust even on YouTube if he was still alive doing it this way. And most of the time, you don't know you're compromised until you take the connections, and then, hey, you'll get an email from them. Hey, I see you're doing this. I don't really like that. I might pull back from supporting you now. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I won't do that anymore. Okay, it's cool then. Hey, so do you want to have a phone call around this time? Okay, this time works. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the handlers. And they'll try to exploit anyone with an influence, no matter if you're a musician on the street going into a studio or you're someone online that has a monetized YouTube channel. If you're not monetized, they happen to not really care. Sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. They'll care about getting you to write comments and make other people look bad or good, and they'll pay you for that, some people with InfoWars, but most of the time they wait until you're monetized, and then they give you more connections and money, and then you got to keep things a certain way or you're going to lose what you just built up and how it was managed when you got it built up. Yeah, right. It was all about the art with Kurt. And these artists nowadays, I don't even remember a single thing they've done. Can anybody here tell me a single joke that Sarah Silverman has said? Do you remember any joke she said? Or do you just remember her butt and her boobs? It wasn't supposed to be about looking like a prostitute or a body for people to like. It was about actually being someone worth providing something to this world. Something good. Wow. And if there's going to be Project Bluebeam with the fake alien technology, not fake, it's alien technology, but used basically by the people that made our cell phones and then gave it to us from underground bunkers. If that does happen, you know who's behind it? The Zionists, the evil. The tyrants, the ones with the technology and the equipment and everything that like to be evil. The ones that are only darkness and of the devil. The Zionists, extreme Zionists. Why? Because they're for killing people, murdering people. So if you're a police officer and you hear me talking like this, why do we not like Zionists? Because they're extremists that kill people. You shouldn't like that. You shouldn't like terrorism. Even if you're told it's good by the mainstream media, you should see where they're killing people and hurting people and have a brain and the smarts enough to be able to be like, yeah, this is bad. No matter what I'm being told here, seeing a genocide happen is actually pretty bad. I shouldn't like it. Don't listen to what the mainstream media tells you how to think. Think about how your parents would have raised you. They would have been like, shit, that's happening in those countries. Like, it's really not good, son. Something so simple like that would have been said to you back in the day. And then they mess with people even online that have mental health issues or people that don't even have that, but just have a lot of money. They'll mess with anyone they can. Probably even animals. Probably doesn't even have to be a human. Children, adults, probably animals. Well, yeah, I've seen how they are in Gaza. I've seen them even killing cats and everything. And that Israel Defense is Sarah Silverman's family, what they're all involved in. So before you judge me for being a bad person for reacting to the evil, look at the evil. Look at the evil that I'm reacting to. Try to see what I'm reacting to. A genocide happening in Gaza, child sex trafficking, it being covered up, thousands, if not millions of people loving the people that shouldn't have one bit of respect, and then going outside in your own community when standing up against it and being treated like crap by people that don't even have one clue about who you are or what you're doing in your life. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's so stressful. And having so many things to do against all the bad that's happened in this world that continues to happen, that's stressful too. It'd be great if we could live a life of peace where it's just nirvana. Thank you. Yeah, they're literally trained to like have no emotion about what they're doing. The more psychopathic they are, the stronger they think they are. And they do prey on people even in vulnerable states of the astral plane that are traumatized by what they see. And I like to stand up against the people that are putting the evil on people's faces, thinking that they're so fucking powerful with it. If anything, we can show them the same evil shit, flip it on them, and have them get the fuck out of like hurting other people's minds and fucking up the collective humanity. That deserves to happen more. If they want that kind of a war. It'd be great to just live in peace. But we don't get to be them. And ironically, it's them that are living in peace and having the most fun. And if they're not, then stop trying to show off their smiling faces every week like they're having a great time every second of the day. Be a little more real with your audience then, if that's not the case. But it's a new day for people to place their negativity upon you to make you feel like crap. I hope you have a good day today. What's really stupid is somebody in their apartment going up against it and being traumatized about all the awfulness they're seeing on the internet regarding these people and what they're involved in is surveilled a lot more than the people actually doing those crimes and actually get in more trouble. If not just they get in trouble and the other people just don't get in any trouble. You got to not react to their evil. You got to see them torturing people and making fun of it and just be like, oh, just another day. I'm calm, cool, and collective. I don't want to do anything illegal or react because I'll be the bad person if I do that. You literally got to be a sociopath just to not do anything illegal against all the badness and evil that they're doing. It's like to stay here and not be in jail or whatever. You literally got to be like a sociopath just to keep accepting all this fucking evil that we keep seeing every day on the news and on the fucking computer and cell phone. Even if your family member was Charlie Kirk and you see him get shot, you still got to be like, oh, that's upsetting, but I can't react in a bad way because I'll be the bad person if I do. And they get away with fucking doing it. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah. I mean, when I see the YouTube channels trying to say, oh no, Mark was a good guy, like he would never do anything wrong, he was really professional. It's like, did they not read his own memoir? Because we could discredit everything they're saying with Mark Lanigan's own words. If somebody says things like that, they have obviously not read Sing Backwards and Weep. I know, you got to see all the evil and just be like, if I react in a bad way, I'm the bad person, I'll go to jail. I just got to let all the evil happen, and I got to hope that maybe someday the police will care enough to surveil the people that are actually doing all of the really bad evil in the world. Hopefully that day happens someday. That's literally what we got to be like. Until then, people on welfare are the threat of humanity. I wonder when the Zionists killing people and involved in all the child sex trafficking, I wonder when they will be as worse as the people on welfare doing nothing with their life. What a stupid world. The A-lister and A-lister stands for asshole. It seems. Do any of you remember the famous Jet Jackson? It was a Disney television show in the early 2000s. I know this is random, but it sucks because I grew up with that. And the kid in that show committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. But I can't really say it was suicide because anything being reported by a celebrity, I now question. Yeah, and if you want to let people know about lucid dreaming, and I wanted to do that with Sarah too, I started having lucid dreams with her in a demonic entity. But those have stopped happening. I literally went to religious people about it because it was scary. And I would wake up more angry after the dreams. There's this one time in my dream where I was chasing it, and then it turned into my cat that died, and I kept beating it. But I kept beating it turned into like a dark shadow figure, and I kept beating on it. And then I looked down on it, and it was my cat all hurt in the dream. And then I woke up, and I felt horrible. And I knew that it was affecting me like that on purpose. Literally like this reptilian entity in Sarah's form, but with different kind of kind of look kind of serpentine, like its hands and feet a bit at times. And ironically, Danny had dreams of these beings as well, and we used to speak about it. Negative creep and I'm stoned. Ugh. Anyway, the elites don't want you to know that you can lucid dream and that you're an eternal spirit being. They want you to be confused and go through a reincarnation soul trap and have this planet to do all their evil and keep laughing about it on. But it's really simple to understand. You were supposed to grow with the awareness since you were a baby that you're multidimensional, and you can get in the vibe of it being cool again and just really naturally sink back into it. Just like the elite have, that like Elon Musk and all the rest of them, and want to hold all this knowledge to themselves and feel all powerful and great as they keep humanity dumb and stupid and perverted. And it's like they want to make us into negative creeps. I know what helps me is the old DCOM movies, like Disney Channel original movies from the 90s and early 2000s. How they would deal with situations in ways that were just normal and good and not stressing out to the point of making everything worse. Like, there was good examples on how to be back then and how to, make decisions based on what you feel in your heart. And we don't really have that influence anymore. And it's like, I almost cry when thinking about the influence from those movies because it's so rare. We don't have that these days. If we have it on TV now, it's in a TV show that wants us to be politically correct by ways of thinking, and it's not the same. Yeah, I've watched the Donald Duck one. That was freaky. I like the ones like True Confessions with Shia LaBeouf or Searching for David's Heart, which had Danielle Panabaker in it. Let's see. The ones with the Brotherly Love brothers, Matt, Joey, and Andy. And another episode of their podcast actually just came out today, the Brotherly Love Pod. A lot of them were on Boy Meets World as well. Wow. I liked the Good Family ones. Channel ones. Family Channel. And Matthew Lawrence. I had a dream recently of him dying, and I woke up sad. My mom was in the dream saying, "No." Matthew Lawrence was roommates with Eric Matthews in the Boy Meets World show in the later seasons. But they have a podcast, and it's with Joey Lawrence, Andy Lawrence, the younger brother, and Matthew Lawrence. And it's called the Brotherly Love Pod, and it's here on YouTube. They just came out with another episode that was filmed yesterday and released today. So if you're wondering where they are, that's where they are now. Brotherly Love Podcast on YouTube. Joey was in that show Blossom. Remember, he was always like, he was known for saying, "Whoa, whoa." And but yeah, Disney Channel back in the day had, before everything became political, I liked it when they wanted people to feel with their heart. Well, we don't have that even in Disney movies nowadays. It's just all about being politically correct, and it's not there anymore. You have to dig into the 90s, early 2000s to find the positive stuff. And the 80s, like The Boy Who Could Fly. That was a good one. Or Flight of the Navigator. I would love to listen to the Brotherly Love Pod on here, but I don't know if I would get banned or something. Or a copyright strike with Matt and Joey and Andy. Oh gosh. Even Lizzie McGuire and shows like that were good for, like, you know. Maybe I can play like 5 minutes of this, of the Brotherly Love Pod, of using your heart to finish that last sentence. And actually having a personality and being caring and it not being about being politically correct in any way. Right? Let's see if we can play some of the Brotherly Love Pod with Matthew Lawrence, Joey Lawrence, and Andy Lawrence, with Ryder Strong, who played Sean and Sean Hunter in Boy Meets World. And this was only recorded 7 days ago.
Yes.
Because we're on the topic of them. And I want to smoke a joint as I just sit down and listen.
Because you guys were like the established Hollywood people. You were the very successful set of brothers who had become superstars and like done all this stuff. And so for us, I think there was a sense of like, oh God, the Lawrences are coming. Like what,
Oh my goodness.
Seriously.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. And change my height to smaller. Because
So you
they
could be a turtle?
Because they wanted me to be. They wanted like 5'6" under, and I don't know how to change it back. I'm like,
That is Andy Lawrence now. He sounds like Joey now, but yeah.
So for 10 years now, it says I'm an inch and a half shorter than I am.
On IMDb?
You
can change it,
on
can't
Google
you?
or Wikipedia or some. I don't know, one of those things.
Wow.
It sucks.
Yeah, it
I've
is
changed the IMDb one. That was IMDb Pro.
But we had this conversation.
Went too far though.
I think on our podcast we had this conversation. You realize child actors end up being short people.
Yes.
Because you're cast mostly as a kid because you can play younger. So the shorter you are as a kid, the more likely you will work as a child actor.
Yeah.
But then, if you notice, none of us got super tall, like Elijah Wood, super tiny. Like all the kids who were like work kind of stay, and it's because you're just genetically a smaller person.
Wonder if it's all the cortisol
stress. I was about to say, I thought it was because we were always on like sound stages, dark environments. So we turned into these little golem creatures.
Everything is
when we
animals.
grew up.
Everything is animals. Environment, habitat, they grow smaller, less oxygen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Honestly, I was like, because you're right. I noticed it though. I was like,
No, it's just selection bias because you want kids that can be 8 years old to play 6, right? You want them to be older mentally but still look younger.
Yeah, for sure.
So those are the kids that work. So then as we grow up, we're still all kind of shorter, smaller people. So yeah.
That is amazing, actually.
back to it.
When they make the next Wizard of Oz, they should employ us all.
Oh,
Speaking of which, I got this book for my birthday from my mother called The Book of Unusual Knowledge because she says on this podcast, I say the weirdest facts. So now I'm going to be full of them, guys. I'm just like, I haven't read it yet, so I've got nothing prepared.
That book almost looks fake. That book almost looks like, when you open up, it's actually like a money, you just put stuff in it.
It totally does.
Like, doesn't have any,
Yes.
It's no pages. Look at that. But there are pages.
Oh, no, this is a very legitimate.
What is the
Can I see
angle? Is there an angle to it, or is it
Can I
just
see
like weird
It
facts?
took about 30 million hours for Stone Age work. Oh, that's just a quote. Can I see it for a minute?
What? You should finish it.
Okay, it took about 30 million hours.
This right here speaking is Matthew Lawrence speaking about the book his mom got him.
For some Stone Age workers to build Stonehenge.
Anyone see Miss Doubtfire? And I will pause it in between because that will help the video stay up. He was in Miss Doubtfire with Robin Williams as well as a kid.
It's useless.
You misread that.
I thought that was
about
built
30
by-
million hours for stone workers to build Stonehenge.
No.
What?
Stone. And that's why it took 30 million hours. They were all completely high.
Hey, where's the stone go?
And at the end, it was a disaster, but they were like,
This still looking
Do
amazing.
we even know what Stonehenge is for? Is it just the equinox, like a calendar?
No, it was built by extraterrestrials.
Oh God.
Oh god.
And the Earth is flat.
It does have some sort of seasonal component,
Right, yeah.
It's like a druid
Or
seasonal.
calendar or something, or I don't know.
dude, movies and television,
Oh no.
American
gosh,
landmarks,
get that out of Joe's
art,
hands.
literature, all about animals, money and
See?
business, intriguing individuals. You're not on there. Earth and the universe, waging war, happy holidays.
Great.
There's all these sections.
Well, let's not go through the whole
This is a
chapter.
cool book.
Thanks, man. Maybe I'll get you one for your birthday.
Why
don't-
you better give me
I know. It's turning 50, dude.
Wow. My wife just turned 50. So.
Really?
Yeah. So we did a whole Costa Rica big surfing adventure.
What?
Super fun.
Where'd you go in Costa Rica? Tamarindo?
No, I'm not going to remember the name of the town. She organized the whole trip, but we got this villa. We had like 22 people. It was
Dude.
so much fun. It was
Bro,
amazing. Yeah.
we just got back.
Really? It
Yes,
was amazing, right?
dude.
You guys have been there before, though?
No.
Oh, Costa Rica's the best. Oh, talk about biodiversity.
Dude,
It's like
the flora.
it's one of those like
Yeah.
it's like 70% of the world's one of
Yes.
those like biodiverse areas.
Because
Like
it's the land bridge between Panama and Nicaragua.
dude, Costa Rica. I've been there
So
like
great.
3 or 4 times, and I love.
Wow.
My wife loves it
It's
there.
awesome.
It's the best.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
You know where we went before, like for my brother-in-law's 40th birthday a few years back. We went to the Osa Peninsula.
Yes!
Oh, that's where you want to go.
Dude!
Back. Okay, that's where you want to go because they have the nature preserve.
Yes.
It's huge there, and you can walk through it, and you can
Yes.
hire a guide to take you through, and they'll find all the animals for you. Within like 3 hours, we saw giant sea turtles. We saw, I can't remember the name of there's like the weird like tapir like thing that like
the anteater. Yeah.
What is it called though?
it's black and it looks,
yes.
Yes.
we saw all
Not
of it,
an
and all the different 4 different monkey species. It
Yeah,
was so
the howlers,
howler
the
monkeys,
spiders,
monkeys,
yeah.
capuchins. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny you say the Oso because we didn't get there this trip, but we stayed at a place and we wind up
Casa
meeting-
del Rio.
Yeah, Casa del Rio. Shout out. We wound up meeting the family that runs and owns the place, and
They're great.
they have
Really
a
cool people.
private like villa type house there,
Yes.
and they invited us to come back
Gotta go
in the
there.
I
Oso.
know.
You have to do it.
They,
Do the
they,
Oso
they said
Peninsula.
we're trying to bring Joe because we want to do a live podcast.
So
Yeah.
great peninsula.
It's
Oh,
Don't do
so
this.
how I wish I could go there.
Hey, why don't you make an introduction?
Oh yes, welcome to the Brotherly Love Pod, everybody.
Yeah,
It's a
we're
very
very
special
special. Thanks
di-
so much for joining us. Good.
No, Joe, you gotta let one person speak at a time.
Oh, thanks.
Love of
How many
God.
episodes have you done? If you guys not figured this out,
Hundreds. No.
You're speaking way too quick. We should do it. Now they're speaking about what's up with Hollywood as well. So I like that they're actually speaking about things that actually matter. It's just like when you have a podcast, you got to remember to slow down your voice because other people are listening to what you're saying. Oh my gosh.
I think we'll have to pick this up another time.
Yeah, we will. It's too
Got
long.
so much more to say.
I know, but you're talking about,
Did we really say anything though?
No.
No, we just got
That's
to
the whole
bounce
point.
around ideas.
Yeah. It's just a
Yeah.
little dinner table conversation today. Buddy,
What's up, bros?
What's up, bros? Thanks for joining us here on the Brotherly Love Pod.
We're the Lawrence Brothers.
We are.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, the pod.
Please
What's
like
going
and
on?
subscribe on YouTube.
That's right. We are back. Everybody have a good weekend. Last weekend, it's been a week since the Super Bowl and all that good stuff. And now we're here. It's like the Super Bowl aftermath for Super Bowl fans. Like, I don't know whether people really even care about that yet.
I think a lot of people care about the Super Bowl.
Well, I know a lot of people cared about.
I cared.
Yeah, they did. They cared about that. They cared about the halftime show, banning it, boycotting it, watching it. All a bunch of stuff went down with that. So we'll leave
Just
that to all you guys to discuss.
Can't
right
we
here.
all just
I
get
know,
along?
it's so stupid. The whole
For
thing.
goodness sake.
The whole thing, just everything's out of whack. But but we're
Just
here.
Love thy neighbor.
We're
That's
here. We're here.
It's true. The only thing stronger than hate is love.
All you need is love.
I mean,
All you
Did
need.
you see that thing I sent you? I thought you would love that with your mouth trumpets. Did you see that kid?
Yes.
Whoa. He does the bass all the way to the trumpets. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. That was really cool. Really cool. So we're here.
Yes.
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Matt, you got another wild hat on.
Of course.
Love
This
it.
is my own brand.
Oh, that's your brand?
I made it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a cool hat.
Thanks, man.
You made it.
Yeah. I mean, I got it made. I created the patch. I bought it. I got the trucker hat style that I like.
What is it, like a, is it a deer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, the classic,
Yeah. I like that.
It's a nice shirt, man.
And this shirt Andy bought me, a little Christmas present that I'm now whipping out in late February.
I got that shirt in sort of a mint green.
Yeah, Andy gave us these shirts.
Really.
And then Joe cut it.
No.
So yeah, it sucks that I like the Lawrence brothers because they actually are about God and not liking how Disney is nowadays and speaking out against that, speaking out against the A-lister celebrities and how they are on Instagram and Twitter. They're actually really good. Yeah. Like sometimes I put out so much valuable information about lucid dreaming and people are like, "Oh, stop with this shit." And I'm like, they're not ready. And maybe they don't deserve it. Maybe they don't deserve the knowledge if they're going to act like an asshole. It sucks when you really put it out there and this spiritual work you've done and people just think it's garbage and you're making it up. And so you're like, fuck it. And so I take the videos off. I keep them. I put them on unlisted or private and I just keep it for myself. And like, fuck you. I guess you don't deserve to know. Good luck with sleep paralysis, you fucking asshole. You'll be wishing you did listen to me. Yeah, the Lawrence brothers do. You'll hear that more. And they're all about God. You'll hear that more when you listen to them more. There's probably maybe even a better one to listen to than that then. But let's see. I'm going to play the rest of this for a little bit, but I'll pause it and play it. These are the people of Disney that actually did good and didn't stay with Disney.
He did a crop
He
top.
cropped it. He Harry styled it. $200 shirt. He turned it into a crop top.
Yeah,
Harry
If
styled it.
Yeah, Harry styled it. It's very good. If I had known, I should have only paid $100, and then I could return the bottom half maybe and get $100 back.
So I took off a little bit of the length and I had him sew it. It looks pretty good.
Let's see. So hopefully soon we get something going with Harvey and Joe on here, though. 1 second.
What I can do better, to provide for them. It's really difficult.
Of course.
It's not easy,
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's an amazing gift that I've been given, and I don't take a minute off from thinking about how I can do better, and try to make it right, and try to continue to give them all the opportunities that I want them to have. And, when you fall short, it doesn't feel great. And you just go, all right, well, I just got to keep working and work my ass off, and 44 years.
Let's see. It was this one where you get to hear more about where they are now and how they are not like the industry anymore. They're doing an interview with the Hanson brothers, ironically, the Lawrence brothers. Both of these brothers were really popular in the 90s. And the Hanson brothers are actually really good too, and not like the A-lister celebrities that we have nowadays. They're more about just loving your family and not being part of that entertainment industry galore.
One day people started screaming, "Whoa!" Like everywhere we would go across the streets and stuff. And that's what, like, whoa! We'd be in the urinals
That's
and
your inbox.
guys,
Sorry.
dude, yeah.
The word that when everyone says it, they
Yes.
think of one person. That's a pretty powerful special kind
We
of
have
thing.
no idea what that's like.
But nobody uses umbop in conversation. People are driving their car and they almost crash and go, "Whoa!"
Oh, no.
That's a thing.
It is.
Yeah. I think he was gang stalking Kurt, or that story was made up about him being on the plane beside Kurt coming back to Seattle. I don't know if that's true at all, but somebody said that could be the case.
It is.
Yeah, so it's just,
They're screaming umbop while they're about to get in.
Sorry about that.
brothers galore.
Yes. If you like brothers, this is the place to be.
It's 3-on-3.
3-on-3, baby. That's right. Andy, take it away.
Well, we have three very special guests: Taylor, Isaac, and Zach. Everybody, please welcome Hanson. Woo! Baby, look at this.
Oh, I
It's
just
so
want to
cool.
point out, in any sport, 3-on-3, I'm very certain you guys would win.
I don't know.
I feel like that's
I
a
don't-
guarantee right now.
No, I don't know. Are you guys athletic?
We're not athletes. No, we're musicians, and that is sort of like the kryptonite for athleticism.
Exactly.
We can jump up and down while singing. That is one thing that we're pretty good at that.
That's
You know, good
You
breath
should see him
control.
do that while drumming. It's
Oh.
really awkward. It's just kind of like a butt pinch, you know. Just stand. It's just kind of.
It's like
Glute
that
exercise.
time when other people were really developing the hand-eye coordination. I tell myself, drummers, right, getting
Oh my
you
god,
imagine-
this is sick. And I have to literally pause it in between, or else it's going to copyright strike this or something. But didn't Kurt turn? Yeah, he did turn Guns N' Roses down as an opening band. He didn't like them at all in the way that they were sexist, and it's the exact opposite way of how Hanson and Brotherly Love Brothers are, which I like. They're the exact opposite way of people like the band members of Guns N' Roses. These people are about heart and not being like that. Continuing with that now. Right, and they were all going to invite him back to their house, apparently, and then he took off.
It's this sort of sense of having the humility to almost be humble enough to have the confidence you can do it. Like, okay, this isn't mine. I didn't invent whatever giftings show up. But then you try and just walk through the door and take the chances. And a lot of people, I think, hide from that. Like, oh, couldn't be me. I couldn't be the one that's going to make a movie or couldn't get signed. Or they almost sort of count themselves out. They go, well, no, I'm not going to be successful in this because nobody is. And so we just had maybe the foolishness.
Well, we had the gift of parents who told us, it's okay to chase the dream. It's okay to
give it a shot.
It's okay to give it a shot, and it's okay to and then work hard to capture it.
Yeah, it's funny, guys. I hear is literally your sentiments are echoed so much in our upbringing. Our parents were the same. I mean, that's exactly what they taught us, and we're around us 24/7. Our family unit kept us free and clear of all that stuff too. And every day you hear more bombs dropping about certain people in our industry, the underbelly and the dark side of things. We were really so protected from all that. Knew all these people, by the way. They were around us.
Cross paths with them all the time.
Cross paths with all of them.
Maybe we're in the same room, but
literally,
our parents were there in the same room
but
as well.
Our parents were there.
Yeah.
And, I say this to my children now, and I'm sure you guys do too. And my mom and dad said this for me, professed it completely. Look, what you do, the decisions you make, right? What you put in your body, who you surround yourself with, you're doing that to yourself. So although it'll make me sad, although I will hurt for you because I love you so much, ultimately, it's you. It's you.
Yeah.
You have to, it's your body. And guys, I'm not telling you, man, even at the height of all that Teen Idol stuff, I talk to my daughters all the time because they're like, they're realizing, the level of success that I had in certain teen parts of my life. And like Bieber, but back then, these things, right? So, but when it came time for those moments and those drugs were there and that alcohol was there, I literally thought about that and I was like, I don't want to put that in my body. I don't want to do that. And I got off on saying no. I literally found my strength in going, I'm good. No, I'm good. And I literally never did. And it's a testament to our parents because that's exactly what they preached to us. And our mother was crazy enough to see that talent in me. And she says it at whatever it was, 18 months.
And us, Joe.
And then
she
Matt,
saw that talent in us
Andy,
too.
but mostly me. And then Andy, and then she saw it in Matt. She saw it in Andy, and she was crazy enough to go and beautiful enough to go. You know what? Because she was also, our parents were also. They had a band together. They were in a band together. My mom was a musical
They
teacher.
both had suppressed talent, as I would say.
Coming out of that generation that said, I feel this, but I'm scared, and I should probably just do something more
Traditional.
Yeah. So my mom was a school teacher. My dad sells insurance. That's what it was.
They both have sparks.
And to this day, our parents can sing their butt off. Our dad has one of the best male voices. I mean, when he was my age,
oh my gosh,
you name it, dude.
You would sing all the Motown,
Mike McDonald, Steve Perry.
Everything.
My dad could sing all of it and crush
the Temptations. I mean, we're talking really amazing stuff.
Crush it, man.
Wow.
My dad actually, I think if you comparatively, line us up decade by decade, my dad actually has and had a better voice than I do.
All three of us.
Yeah, for sure. So, but my mom was crazy enough to go, let's do it. And we got on a train with Matt at 1.5 years old in a stroller. And we took 2 trains from Philly to Trenton, Jersey and into Manhattan. My mom got robbed in the city, thrown in trash cans. Yes. All these things right in front of me. Went to my first audition and I got it. And that started the whole thing. I mean, that's literally how it began. Wow. And it's amazing, and the highs and lows have been quite extreme, but I wouldn't trade anything for the world.
This is how I made a floating bed. It's easy, cheap, and you can do it too. I started by making a
world because at the end of the day, I got these guys, and fortunately, our parents are still alive and healthy. And life is a journey. We haven't had the kind of like marriage bliss that you guys have had. But life is a journey. And I wouldn't trade my journey for anything. And my 3 daughters are literally like the coolest thing in the whole world, and having it the way it happened to me, because my oldest will be 18. I have a 14-year-old, and then I have a 15-month-old. So it is so.
Bless you, man.
I know, dude. And I'm older. I'm the oldest guy on this podcast. So it's
well, I've got a 3-year-old, so I'm right there. It's actually right there.
Yeah.
So.
You have a 3-year-old too, brother.
I beat you on span. I have a 21 and a 3. So,
images in my head of you and Prince, and did it to you. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and touch on something that you said that is that I've been kind of thinking about, and I wanted to talk about, and that is the image of the wholesome, family, and how, I know we've experienced where you get this kind of pull and this backlash almost where you can't be that wholesome and continue to be successful, and you can't do this. And then you see the people, because I know all throughout my career and my upbringing, I felt this pulling on me, kind of like the dark side, like if you, and these people that you see now talking about, who have come out and how they have been, exposed for what they have done. These people will be whispering in your ear, come to this side and you can have this and this huge career. And I'm so thankful that we never got pulled down the road because of the family.
It's only.
But you know what? I really respect that, and the reason why I respect you guys too is that there needs to be more of a voice for young people to show that in the end of the day, like we were saying, it's what you have to live with, and it's who you are going to be. It's a shame that darkness is what's being made cool, because really, what should be made cool is the wholesomeness. Because at the end of the day, 30 years later, when you have to live with yourself and the actions that you have done in your life, man, you're going to be a mess, and you see it played out over and over again. It's just a shame that Hollywood is making this darkness.
It's true.
Cool
It's true.
Versus the wholeness and the wholesomeness will actually what will make you happy in the end of the day.
What's cool is
You see what I mean? They really are cool people. Like, they have a real heart and everything. And for the majority of their lives now. Just stay out of the limelight.
That we keep doing that and keep putting that out into the world, because there's very few of us that are doing that.
Yeah. What's cool is when you kick darkness's ass and you win.
Heck yeah, man.
That is what's really that's
Luke
it.
Skywalker, baby.
Yeah. No, I just
Matt's
feel
on
like,
a tantrum.
well, no,
Matt's on a tantrum.
I think they tried to do to Luke Skywalker.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying though, because I think you're right. I know. And for one comment about that specifically, obviously, you're talking about a very dark reality in the entertainment business as a whole. We see it. I see it all the time with female artists where they get really manipulated and exploited and overly sexualized because there's a bunch of, for lack of a better say, a bunch of old perverts that want them to dress with very little on, as opposed to their incredible God-given talent of their voice, of their ability to write, of their ability to perform.
Yes.
That has very little to do with the external reality of who they are, and has a lot to do with their internal reality. And in a way, it's almost like they're trying to get control of the internal reality so they can control you. And I think that's the scariest part that you see. Obviously, people getting exposed for the abuse that they have wrought on lovely, genuinely talented people who were young and isolated because of their fame, and maybe we're not lucky enough, like you guys were, like we were, to have parents who were willing to dedicate that level of time and energy into their children and say, no, our kids are pursuing a career, but it doesn't mean that we stop being their parents. And it doesn't mean that we stop being there with them. We can let them live their lives and be genuine, good versions of themselves. But for God's sake, Zach is 11 years old. Isaac's only 16. I mean, I got a 17-year-old right now, and I'm like, I love you to death, dude.
You don't know
holy
anything.
Cow. He was saying something like, I've been thinking about this my whole life. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, great.
Well, but I think
congratulations.
One of the things that's, we've talked about, ad nauseum, the different, you retell the specific moments that people know about, the moments of success, and that's a great gift to have any of them, right? To have people know you at all. But I think that sort of learning early, as far as being quote unquote wholesome versus the other thing, the gift of being a craftsman or developing something that is you're there for, like developing a skill, fame is like a result of something. But really, when you put down, when it puts down profession, it doesn't say person that's famous for something. It says actor, musician, writer, something that is an act of some kind of creative outlet. And so I think
One second. And there's not many people like that in Hollywood. Justin Bieber's parents were certainly the opposite of how Andy's and Matt's and Joey's parents were. And especially now with social media, it's just a lot worse.
the manipulators. The entertainment industry is made up of people that are truly their job is they find their way and get close to people. And
sycophants. They have a word for it.
Draw their power. Well, they draw their power from others that are there to actually create something. And I think that what I think is what we're really talking about is when it is actually about the song or the story or the thing you want to do, it's a lot easier to push away the noise of the cult of essentially
a personality
of what happened after the show. It's guys, the whole story, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Rock and roll is why we're here, the actual music side. And without that, and obviously great family and deeply connected, to who you are, which is much, much bigger than any other stuff. Just the idea that we're here to actually make something. And so it's not actually, that other stuff is all sort of side note. This is what we ate for that's where we're going to have drinks later. That's not why we're here.
But it's the manipulators though. I think the reason why the quote unquote kind of bond of family or brothers or the kind of decency of saying, well, no, it doesn't mean I'm a prude. It just means I'm not reckless.
Dude, yeah, man.
There's a very big difference. It's me driving 120 miles an hour on my motorcycle or in my car is different than me having a really cool car that can go that fast. Like there's this little subtle thing, which is like I want to have the really cool car and be able to do those things, but I don't want to die.
You know
And
what,
So I think the reason why it's made cool is because the people who get their power from the manipulation and from the kind of
wow.
fact that they're not the creator, but they can control the creator. That isolation and that idea of, hey, do this and hey, do that, and then they get control and they get a way in, is the reason why that stuff is kind of made cool.
Yeah, man, you're making this is hard for me because I really want to
Go in there.
really deep, because I think what you're really talking about is sort of a spiritual depravity, right? This is the reality of anti-heroes versus heroes, right? How do we see ourselves? What do we see as possible? And how do we see the world as being made? What are we supposed to hold our standards to? Right? When somebody looks at Superman these days, right? When Superman was invented in the late 30s, right?
a response
by Jews, young
fascism.
Jewish men who were seeing anti-Semitism and the shift in global opinion towards the Jewish people to become extremely violent, extremely
hostile.
bigoted, right?
Yeah.
They said they were making a Messiah,
An allegory.
right? This is, they were saying this is the level that we need.
Like
Right.
true, yeah.
And at that
True.
time in human history, I think the whole world was more spiritually connected to the idea that there was a high standard.
And that high standards were something to aspire to, not
Right.
something to.
Think about a
degrade, yeah.
superhero like Green Lantern. What's
You guys
your
up your
power?
can here.
What's your power? Willpower. Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yes, I have the power to do anything as long as I have the will to overcome the things that will try and stop me from doing
And
it.
what's the evil? Isn't the evil fear?
Fear.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have a real problem with the way people treat superheroes these days because they love anti-heroes. They love people who aren't really heroes.
Right.
They love people who are just as flawed as they are. In fact, they like the ones that are more flawed than they are, so they can
And
feel good
happen
about
to do
themselves.
good things.
My favorite heroes, like Captain America,
Is
like this guy is
the
like,
real Captain America.
like, I'm weak, I'm small, and I'm gonna do it anyway. There's no chance, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
I have no
That first Captain America movie is probably
not
my
even
all-time
that.
favorite.
I just mean, and so it's really
As an
like,
example.
what standards do we lift ourselves up to, and how
It's
do
good
we
point,
see
guys.
the world?
Guys,
you know,
The can has been opened fully,
it's
gentlemen.
There's a lot
No.
more there. That's like that's just like
The tip of the iceberg.
tip of the iceberg. But this
Yo,
is what we're
guys,
talking about. It's like, what do you say to yourself is the highest of callings? Actually, probably the hardest thing in the world to be is just a morally upstanding, charitable, loving human.
100%.
It's not to be successful.
100%.
It's not
No,
to
dude.
be good looking.
Yeah.
That's not even in your power usually. You're born.
One way or
People
another.
say to me, Zach, what did you put in your hair? I'm like, nothing. They're like, you have the greatest hair. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I don't know. It's just born. Like, you're like, these things are not, the smartest people aren't necessarily given the opportunities to change the world, but they are given the opportunities to change the people around them. That is universally true.
Worry about your 20 feet of influence, not the world.
Not even
Yep.
worry about, but the reality is the only thing that matters is your 20 feet of influence, because that is the thing that will multiply in much greater fashion. In 100 years, the richest man in the world will be dead. Everything he touched will be gone, and all of his money will be controlled by someone else. And every house and tower and thing that he built will be rusting and need to be refurbished by some other guy. But the people he touched, there's a chance that those people will change someone else and change someone else and change someone else. And so there's a lot more.
100%. Dude, amen. I could not agree more. That's exactly the sentiment. It is so much harder to be the good husband, to have a moral compass. That is the stuff of strong men.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's incredible how much we have lost that in society today. And
Well, to your point,
the
the manipulators try to steal the light, right?
Well,
because
well-
they need to put the darkness over it so it's easier for them to pull strings.
Well, I'll even go for it's not only is being a good person, right? Or and we can only speak from our perspective as men, but to be a good man, but it's almost not only is it not celebrated anymore, it's actually people are trying to tear that down. Like
Joe?
They don't want the good man.
Joe, and you know
they
why?
Don't want that.
Do you know why it goes back to this? It's because it's the same thing. We have allowed the evil forces to try to take that light away. So if you're a strong man, you see it in society today.
I just said that.
They're trying to take it away.
Didn't I just say
it's
that?
now gone on a global scale, guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is. And by the way, I agree with you. The first Captain America.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing movie, dude. Amazing movie. The first Captain America.
And Iron Man, which I really liked.
And I liked Iron Man too, but Captain America was amazing.
No, right on. Yeah, I mean, guys, we obviously need to just a very large couch.
I know.
We need to just do this in person.
Tasty and nutritious.
Oh yeah. So Elizabeth, what do you think now after hearing that? I wish there was more of that influence in the being real and having heart rather than just being a cranky fart like most of the A-lister celebrities.
Riding that wave, we were understanding what was behind.
So yeah, this is actually Hanson with the Lawrence brothers, but they have the same spirit. Even Sarah Silverman, narcissistic, dark, only darkness.
Obviously, the fanfare and that community that forges because people go, oh yeah, like I've read the lyric. I was riding that wave with you guys. I was 15 or 16 or whatever, and actually understood what you meant. And now here you are years later, and it's the songs that it's like a great project. There's this stuff that snaps in a huge way, but ultimately it's like what's the layer below that causes you to be like, that's our people. Like, those are the people that are really digging into that experience, and frankly the live fans too.
Well, and I think speaking for a moment about sort of our identity and how MMMBop relates to that, you think about that first record, Middle of Nowhere, and the songs that were successful off of it are these stories about. I think that speak directly to the experiences of young people who are becoming adults, right? The way we were maybe a step or two ahead of them in the development of the dream job, but they're all feeling this sense. So like, Where's the Love was the second single, and Weird, all about feeling different than every single other person, and that's normal. That's what everyone's going through, but it doesn't really help. Like these ideas, I think, we've never written to people. We've just written about the experiences that we're having, and that, obviously is love songs and fun songs, but it's really just your life in a, instead of journaling, you write a song about it, right? You have a bad day, you have a good day, you meet a beautiful girl, and you go like,
isn't that crazy?
This is good. This is bad. This is bad. You
put it all into the songs. Yeah.
It's so true. And I'm sure you guys find this. I believe it or not, I just finished this movie that I was working on, and I had to write a couple of original tunes, and you get inspired, and all of a sudden, like, something inspires you, and then you can just write. Like, you don't, and it really, I mean, I don't know how often you guys, I don't do music obviously as much as you guys, but when it can go 6-7 months, I won't even think about it, and then I'll get inspired, and I'll be like, I just start. How can I put that phrase in? And then it just comes, man. And it's like riding a bike. Like it goes right back into it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go for it.
No, I was just curious to like what that journey. Were you guys with that first record? Were you guys signed like to a label? How did that happen?
It was kind of a heritage rock and roll label, actually. It was Mercury Records and we were first.
Do you know about those T-shirts that say Nirvana and it has the photos of these brothers on it, the Hanson brothers? Because like people like me kind of confused Nirvana with Hanson. People that were born in like early 90s. because they all look the same with the long hair. It was, I think, Zach Hansen that looked like Kurt Cobain with the same hair and same kind of face when they were famous way back in the 90s.
Turned down by everyone.
Yeah.
Like
we
we
had
were turned down
shopped.
by.
We had made 2 independent records. We had shopped that second record to a bunch of people, turned down like 13 times, 3 times by, or 2 times by Mercury by different people. Then a third person got a hold of the record.
Yeah.
And
Interestingly
Danny
enough,
Goldberg
Yeah.
was a big part of it. He was the president at that time. You know, he managed Nirvana, and he gave it to our A&R guy, Steve Greenberg. He said, "You're gonna."
Okay, let's go over this. You hear the Nirvana reference randomly? That's the coincidence. Let's listen to this.
Like 13 times, 3 times by, or 2 times by Mercury by different people. Then a third person got a hold of the record.
Yeah.
And
Interestingly
Danny
enough,
Goldberg
Yeah.
was a big part of it. He was the president at that time. You know, he managed Nirvana, and he gave it to our A&R guy, Steve Greenberg. He said, "You're going to go see this band." And Steve was like, "I don't really want to see this band." And he came to like our worst show ever at like a really, really sleepy city festival in Coffeyville, Kansas. Just imagine, like, the girl who played
Coffeyville,
after us was
Kansas.
singing like karaoke country songs, and the audience was enthralled. And when we played, it was like,
can these guys get off stage, please?
That's how we felt about it.
Yeah, would they stop playing R&B music?
But I think the key,
It's boring.
the thing that's I think people always miss with anything that breaks or has success is it always feels like it just happened, right? Whatever that breakout is,
Right.
or an actor or a technology, like, you know, it just, people have a tendency to just see you as you just walked in and it worked. But it's the appreciation for the grind, you know, for the getting turned down. And frankly, I'm grateful for the experience of playing in front of people, being a performer, and like you guys, as far as learning music and learning, you know,
To be
being
on
in New York, to be
stage.
on stage. I'm sure you're grateful for those where you get to, you know, test your sense of yourself before you have, you know, suddenly a really, really large, overwhelming response that you kind of really can't get your head around, because you've stood in front of 200 people and had to figure out how to be that, and you've heard no a lot. I mean, I don't think anybody.
I don't know about you, but when I'm hearing this, I'm going over how Kurt Cobain would feel, knowing that they went through a similar experience of being in front of lots of people on stage. How that would be different for him.
Because you've stood in front of 200 people and had to figure out how to be that, and you've heard no a lot. I mean, I don't think anybody, you know, you guys have been creative your whole life. You understand this. If you decide you're going to make things for your life, you're going to write songs, you're going to make movies, you're going to tell stories, you're going to hear no a lot.
A lot.
You know?
Yeah.
Or and you have to be really good at hearing that, and then still going, okay, that's fine. So next,
You have to be
You're
really
just
good.
wrong.
You have to be just cocky enough to
Yeah.
just be like, they have no idea. I am super duper great.
I mean,
promise.
right? Have you guys had that experience? I mean, obviously you have.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you haven't. I mean, you just people don't,
most
people
of
don't
it
think
is-
that. People don't think about that side of things.
100%. Look, it's there's thousands of no's, right?
Yeah,
All
most
you
of
need,
them are
we
no.
always say, I don't care how many no's I get, I just need one yes. I need one yes.
Right,
So
yeah.
you celebrate the no,
That's right.
and you look forward to the yes. It is all about that. We confront that still to this day. I mean, every day
Of course.
there are more no's. They outnumber the yeses thousands to one, you know? And but like you have to just have a little bit of confidence, and I don't know, maybe it's blind optimism, and you go, you know what? They're wrong. I'm going to keep doing this because
That's right.
I will prove them
There's
wrong.
a fine line, you know. I mean, we make, so every year we make music. That's sort of a thing, new music, and one of the things we do is we do
For members
yeah,
specifically.
we do for our paying Hanson.net membership that's been going for a couple decades now. We make an EP every year just for the members. So the latest one's about to come out. It's called Time Machine. And so we come into the studio and we go, okay, we're doing 5 songs that won't be released to the public, just to this group of people. And it's always kind of this crazy pressure situation. We purposely kind of put pressure on it. A lot of times we go, here's the theme, now write to this theme. And it's a funny thing to get to the end of it, you know, a week later, you've got 5 finished songs that you just wrote, that you just recorded. And a lot of times I'll look over to Taylor Isaac and I'll go, you know,
It's how I met my bisexual polyamorous boyfriend on Field. So back in 2022, I really...
Man, I hate this world of consumerism. I don't know about you, but it's kind of getting really annoying. So, really, fuck. If we didn't have to wake up so early when we were kids to go to school, and we could have just stayed in that natural state of sleep and peace, I mean, our abilities, our telepathic abilities and everything would be way more enhanced. It was ridiculous to wake up every day for year after year after year just to be programmed by people that are now committing genocide, the government in support of it. Thank you, Chloe. I will speak more about what I've been through sometime. Yep. And it's like you can't get mad at these people that are Zionists, or else you're the bad person. And you can get really mad because they're doing really bad stuff. So, ugh.
I didn't think that was going to work, but it's surprisingly good.
Because 3 days ago, I was like, it's all
I'm biggest fan. To put yourself out there over and over again. People will ask about
Narcissism.
Yes, about starting. I think fundamentally, it's that belief that you have something that will help other people, something to provide to people that will create value. It's not necessarily that you're the best or the brightest or the number one this or that, but people will stumble upon this song, and that will help them. And that's worthy of working hard to make it right? This will get them through a bad moment, a breakup or a loss of a family member. I mean, the number of people that walk up to us and go, hey, I was going to take my life and I heard that song and I'm here because of that song you wrote is wild. It's wild. And so you you walk around with that in your back pocket, more like a little angel on your shoulder going like, hey, buddy, don't phone it in today. Like you got something that you need to provide for people. You need to dig deeper and find something worth doing, Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, guys.
I do have telepathy. Sorry. We all have telepathy. We're all equal. We're all the same.
That's what keeps me going. That's why I know I'm still here doing this. Is movies, certain songs, they have definitely saved.
Autocorrect does make you look stupid, especially when you write "sec" and it's like put "sex" and you send it to your mom or something. It's oh my gosh.
My life at points in my journey, and that's why I do it. Man, there have been some nights where if I didn't have a movie to just escape into, oh my gosh, I could have lost my mind.
Or a song. I agree. If I didn't have Peter Cetera's "Glory of Love," I don't know how I would have made it through.
Okay, you being serious?
I'm dead serious. I love that song.
I love it.
I love that song so much. I mean, there's something about that when you're not feeling good, and all of a sudden you hear like, dun 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 dun. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll be the man who will fight for you.
Well, that's a good song.
I'll be the hero.
Is autocorrect operated by globalists? Well, the whole thing is these devices we're on right now are actually military devices. They're not even our own devices. That cell phone is not your cell phone. That laptop is not your laptop. It's literally the government's. My cell phone is not my cell phone. They were made in deep underground bases before they were given to us.
You've been dreaming of. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I love it. I love it so much.
Great
It makes me feel
melody.
so good inside. Dude, that melody is like a knight in shining armor
Oh boy.
from a long time ago.
Well,
That's
great.
amazing. Amazing.
Well, anyway,
Great one.
you guys are echoing exactly what we're so lucky to get to be a part of playing some role in that for somebody.
I have. Sarah is too. I said it to people. They do check their messages on Instagram. So send them a message of your recorded voice. You'll have a dream with them at night after you go to sleep, when you go to sleep. certain people are very psychic and they're used in really horrible ways as well. But that's kind of speaking really out there, but it's true.
Because there's no guarantee anybody hears it but you, right? Or makes it. Like you make a, you get a
Absolutely.
you make a show made, you make a record.
The chance that it just goes zero
Yeah,
anywhere.
you're like, well, so you just kind of hold on for that. But honestly, when you think of how that hits you as a fan of something, it always kind of gives you that reminder. It certainly does for me. Go, okay, when I'm thinking, wow, this doesn't really matter. It's just another pop song. You go, but I did that for that other song. Like that got me, that sort of brought me back to center. And, we have done a few different things over the years where we've specifically been dedicated to a cause or in a nonprofit where we've worked on really meaningful things outside of music. And one of the first times we started doing work in places like sub-Saharan Africa, so South Africa.
I want to talk to. Yes,
around
I want
the
to.
world.
Yes.
You're working with these kids that are going through the most horrific situations, right? Extreme poverty and HIV/AIDS, and it's like the things that nobody wants to even imagine having happen to their children. I remember thinking for the first time at that point, this has been quite a few years ago. Hey, you know what? This music thing, what are we doing? Like other people go to work and they
change the
feeding
world.
people, they change the world. But even on that one of those first trips that we made, working on this particular album, this has been a long time ago now, it's 2006, within sort of 48 hours of having that real thought, like, what are we doing with our lives? Like, music, I love it, but look, these are doctors feeding, helping people. We were at a meeting where we had all these kids that were under age of 5, all of which had essentially, a death sentence. They were probably not going to live to 10 because of the disease that they were born with. And when music came on, every one of them were dancing, every one of them were smiling, and I thought, okay, I get it. We are all still craving this, like our humanity needs that celebration, right? It needs music, it needs art, we need these stories.
Well, you need community because ultimately community, and that's
Yeah.
really where.
Which is what Kurt Cobain was doing, the community part. Yeah. He also looks like that brother in the Freddy versus Jason movie that appears in the bathtub to one of my old connections, Brendan Fletcher, who's also been in a psych ward. Was also in Goosebumps, the werewolf of Fever Swamp. But he really does look like that bully in the Christmas Story. And that person that does the Scott on Tape on YouTube, he went to the locations of A Christmas Story that are actually right by me too, because it was all filmed here in Toronto in the 80s.
Craving this, like our humanity needs that celebration, right? It needs music, it needs art, we need these stories.
Well, you need community because ultimately community, and that's
Yeah.
really where, you
Yeah.
guys' relationship as brothers, our relationship as brothers, it's such a kind of reinforcing thing in your life. It gives you such clarity and such kind of identity. I mean, obviously family relationships can be deeply challenging, but there is something really powerful about community, something really powerful about family. And it really does make life, even in very difficult times, a lot more palatable, a lot more.
Get superior protection for your home with affordable earthquake coverage. Visit squareone.ca now.
Oh my gosh, I find when an ad appears, I want to blame Mark Lanigan for killing Kurt Cobain and grunge and how the world went to shit. But really, I should just get YouTube Premium. Let me read. He looks so much like him, though. I should make a video on that bully from that movie, A Christmas Story.
Really powerful about community, something really powerful about family, and it really does make life, even in very difficult times, a lot more palatable. A lot more valuable and important. And at the end of the day, you know, when you go to your grave, you're not going to say to yourself, oh man, I wish I would have worked more. You're going to say, man, I wish I would have spent more time with, you know, insert friend, family member here, you know?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. That is everything. The community, it's brought up in all the blue zones. It's brought for the longevity of life, for a healthy life, for a mental, emotional, a positive outlook. Also, like when you go into a movie theater and all those people, you know, kind of sit together, just that community, it's present in so many different scenarios. And to your point, music really, it's such a conductor of emotions, and it does really bring people together. And it can really, you could shed tears, and it can bring a smile to your face, and it could save a life. It really can.
Yeah, that's funny. They should have an ad for YouTube. They have had an ad for YouTube Premium. I had a dream with Mark Lanigan. I did. I had two, and I'll tell you them. So, and get serious again. The first one, I'll get past this one quick. I'll save that one. The first one I'll tell you about is I was upstairs in that Washington house, 171 Lake Washington, with Kurt, and he was stuffing stuff into a backpack, and he looked at me with a worried look on his face. He turned his head to the right and looked at me with a worried look. And my body was still there, but my consciousness flew down the stairs. I don't even know the layout of the house in my waking life here in my third dimension body, but I do in that state. You probably do too. You just don't know it. Maybe you do. Anyway, my consciousness flew down the stairs, and I was in the living room, and there was Mark Lanigan on a couch in the living room, and he was just sitting on the couch with his arms crossed, and he was a dark spirit. But I still knew it was him because I could see the outline of him, and I could see it was him, but it was all dark. Maybe because it was dark too. There was no lights on, or it was just pitch darkness. Even when I was upstairs with Kurt and he was shoving things into his backpack, it was pitch darkness. But I could see Kurt clearly. I could see myself. That was that dream. And my second dream with Mark Lanigan, I was on the same hilltop that I was on with Isaac Cappy and Kurt Cobain when someone said, we don't have much longer. And we were looking into the distance. But it was that same mountaintop, and I was beside Danny and Mark Lanigan, and they weren't saying anything. And we were just looking straight ahead of us into the distance. Those are the only dreams I remember of Mark Lanigan. Ironically, I woke up, I think this morning or yesterday morning, having a dream that Matthew Lawrence was going to die, had died, who we are listening to right here with Hanson. And my mom was in a bed going, no. And I didn't like it. I don't like the focus on it. I don't like when you have horrible dreams and you never thought about, oh, this person or that person dying who you knew about in life or no. And it's like, there's more crap and trauma to life. What the fuck? There's more sadness I have to consider. And so I start thinking in my head, okay, now I feel like, okay, I'll prepare for this person and that person to die. I'll get over that sadness right now so I don't have to feel it later. All right, here we go.
That's why we started the pod, to be honest with you. It was COVID, and we didn't know what the heck was going to happen as everybody else. Like, is this world ending? Like, what are we doing? So it really thrust us back together. We said, we got to do something. So our industry in particular, I mean, I know the touring world was shut down too, but our industry in particular was like, I mean, it was done, over. Yeah. So, we started this, and honestly, out of like that fire came this amazing thing. And we didn't really, our show doesn't have a theme. I mean, we just sit around, we talk, it's like a dinner table conversation every single week. And man, it just exploded. And we have now, we had our first, a while back, about a few weeks ago, we had our first a live pod where we did it in front of an audience. And they know
They
how
loved
we
it.
speak
Yeah.
and what we say and
It's
the way
really
we
cool.
and we have people coming up to us in the same way with this art form now, going like, you have no idea how much this means to us because we were just talking about this with our sister or our brother, or our dad, and like the way you guys communicate is exactly how we talk to each other, you know. And that, to your point, like it's crazy. It's crazy because this little thing, family. But this little thing that we do in the basement here is like exploded, and it's so wild. It's the wildest thing. It really is, you know. And
Oh man, I'm just connecting that. Everything I think about is related to Kurt Cobain. Knowing they're doing this podcast now, these 90s brothers in the basement. Oh man. Thinking about the Hanson t-shirts with the Nirvana logo on top of it, that's popular.
we do it each week.
I love that you guys are doing. I love that you guys are doing it though, because I think what's cool about what you guys represent in so many ways is the fact that, like you said, like we were talking about, I mean, you guys each have your own careers, but you've done so many things together, and to have that brotherly connection and to have a solid relationship, I think is really encouraging to a lot of people. I think a lot of people find themselves in a place where
If you're someone that suffers from having sensitive teeth, but
Perfect time for an ad. Dave Grohl's father, James Harper Grohl, served in the U.S. Army from 1961 to 1964. During his service, he worked as a journalist, editing the Stars and Stripes Army newspaper in I don't know how to say that, in Germany. He was also a renowned political consultant and senior vice president of the U.S. Savings and Loan League. What the fuck? Oh yeah, McDonald's probably does have human flesh, even just by people like cutting their own hand or finger or whatever, or touching it. Might not even be a really bad, gross, evil thing behind that, but it might just be like people getting their finger cut off or something. That is gross. Probably a mixture of both, if anything. Fuck. We do live in a world that is run by evil people that are tyrants. So I wouldn't be shocked.
For one reason or another, the kind of emphasis on valuable family relationships seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside in pop culture, for lack of a better say, and I would even say it's almost perceived to be excessively corny in a way that it's really not. I mean, dude, there is nothing corny about our relationship. It's brutal.
Yeah. Well,
it can be brutal.
It's wholesome, as in it is complete, like whole foods. Like you should eat them.
Exactly.
Not like
Some foods will kill you.
He dislikes me more than most people. Yeah. He also loves me more than most people. It's a very complicated dynamic. But I love the fact that you guys are out there doing that and having those conversations and sharing, little bits and pieces of yourselves and your lives, and then we get the opportunity to talk to you guys through it.
There's another thing too. I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking about this. So we're the oldest 3 of 7, right? And so there are below us, there's 2 sisters and then a brother and then another sister. And
no way.
I mean, historically through my life, one of my best friends is my brother, who's 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And you're like, but in our world, we want to divide that, right? We want to go, oh, he's kind of different generation, rather than kind of what really should happen is the older brother brings younger brother up, right? Gives him experiences he wouldn't get otherwise, scars he wouldn't get.
You got it.
Keeps the older brother younger and vibrant and full of the joy part, not the adulting part, right? Keeps you thinking about, dreaming about. And so like in my life right now, I have 5 kids. Taylor has 7. Isaac has 3.
We're breeders.
Wow. And one of the coolest experiences I've been having lately is the joy of doing things with Taylor's 20-year-old son, my 15-year-old son, right? And this like mix of generations where
he doesn't like
things.
My 17-year-old son.
His 17-year-old son is a great guitar player. No. Just teasing. Everett, we love you. Everett, we love you. Yeah. But it's cool that the generational divide is something that you want to span, not emphasize.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, you guys, that is so crazy. I have 3 daughters, and these 2 morons have not had any kids yet. None. So I'm on an island.
What are you guys doing?
Come
on, start breeding. Let's go.
I know. I've been a dad.
You're serious dad material. I mean, I'm sure that the ladies let you know that. You just are like, no.
These guys.
I
guess the series of.
Did I actually just say that?
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
did.
sorry.
That was I don't even.
Oh, believe me, Andy knows. He's the youngest one getting all of the, wow, I had no idea Andy is so beautiful.
No.
He loves it.
No.
He loves it.
No,
He's the one.
It's only because I went from like a child to a grown adult. So
Yeah.
it's a big shift.
Yeah.
That's
Are you kidding? Andy's like, hey, have you read those comments, guys?
I never said that.
Those
I never
comments
said-
are pretty good.
No, they go
They're
out of
good about you,
No.
jerk. They're good about you.
Going that.
I always get like, does Joey have less hair than he used to have?
That's
Or-
not true. You're the
Joey's
only one that
not-
says that.
Joey's a little
Joey's-
leaner. Joey's a little leaner than I thought he was. I always get like, wow, you're so much leaner than I. Like, how big do you want me to be? I mean, I'm only like 5'9" and a half. I'm not that big of a
Let me
guy.
tell you, there's a special place for younger brothers because when you start off really young, like Andy and I did, people they really underestimate you, and then suddenly they're like, "Wow, he's not a troll."
Exactly. I know. Yeah. Exactly.
I thought he used to be like an ankle biter or something. You know, he's kind of like decent looking and he has a
under an
personality.
actual bridge. Did you?
Exactly.
Like you crawled out. Where did you come
one man to another? Obviously, we're not all gifted or blessed enough to always just meet the woman of our dreams, but.
Sometimes you have to decide.
I think the thing that people underestimate about that is like the power. Like think of the bond you have with your brothers, right? And you have this incredible lifelong bond of I've shared all the same experiences and I can finish all his jokes. And that's why you want to find a woman and get bonded, because then you get to have that.
Get bonded
Is that
with
why?
a woman?
Is that why? Yes.
So it's a really different, different experience.
That's a really special thing, and I tell anybody, man, if you can, just get on with getting to that point.
And we're not Catholic or Mormon, so
Yeah, so I don't know, we're just probably weirdos.
No, it's perfect.
No, that's
you
awesome, dude.
you met your wife at 14, and you've been married. You've been married 18 years.
Yeah, so we started dating when I was 14, and then we got married when I turned 20.
Wow, dude, that's insane. That's insane. Wow. What about
a
your other guys?
procrastinator, apparently.
No.
I was 19. I mean,
I'm going to one second here. All right. I'm going to have a joint and turn on the white noise, but I'm going to play this in the background. It's a Boy Meets World reunion with Will Friedle, Eric Matthews, with the Lawrence brothers, with Matt. They were in the later seasons of Boy Meets World together. And I'm going to have a smoke in between, and I'll pause it when our ad comes up and speak. I don't like to type when I'm on live because people can hear all that. And I've got complaints about that, so I try not to type. I'm not being rude. I just don't want to do that.
We had such an amazing time on that show. I was so honored to be a part of it, and you guys were so gracious to accept me onto that. I know, it's never easy to kind of jump into a family and, who is this guy? And
What was the temperature on the set when this guy streamed?
Well, the funny thing is, as in most things with networks,
hated him.
no one
Day
told
one,
us.
yeah.
No one told us.
Shut up.
No.
Wow.
No. We never got a, hey, Matt Lawrence is
No
joining
way.
your cast. No, of course
Wow.
not.
You showed up at the table read and you guys were like, what the hell? Oh my God, then you guys really did hate him.
Maybe a week before, but it wasn't like,
That's
hey,
such
guys,
a curveball.
here's what we've been thinking. No, we'd show up and our little sister be gone. We'd show up and then there was another little sister playing the part. We'd show
Wow.
up and Tony Quinn wasn't on the show anymore. We'd show up and now Matt Lawrence was there. Nobody told us anything.
Wow, that is so
my
fun.
God, I did not know. No, we were not involved. But you also,
you were obviously established. We knew it wasn't like, oh, I wonder if this guy's going to be able to carry the load. We knew where it was going. We knew you had, fans. Obviously, we knew you were coming from a great pedigree with your family. And so it was, wow. I mean, when you've got the Lawrences and the Savages, essentially you've got the young Hollywood sewn up on one set. Oh no!
He always does this.
You got a scratch eye too? No, I have keratoconus. Since I was.
Yep.
That's why this eye's all 2040, 2060 with the contact lens in, and like 2900 with it out.
Yeah. So
you disappear.
You have a glass eye.
You disappear. Yeah. No, it's just a hard contact lens.
You have literally a glass eye.
That's all
they
of
give
my
me
eyes. Look over here. It's like
It's Happy Friday.
Oh, shit.
Well, either way, we had such an amazing time on that show. I was so honored to be before, but it wasn't like,
That's
hey
such
guys,
a curveball.
here's what we've been thinking. No, we'd show up and our little sister would be gone.
Grandparents were when I was born, and they look about their age when I was born. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel like that. And I feel like people look at people. I mean, look at Brad Pitt at 60. He's 60.
Tom Cruise is like 110.
He's 110 years old.
And he's still doing, it's like, I'm going to hold on to the plane as it takes off. Like,
yeah,
all right.
no, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. It is. I feel like you get, if you take care of yourself and God willing, nothing comes up genetically and cancer and horrible stuff. But I feel like you do get a pretty good ride if you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Till like you're 70. Like I don't think you start to look old until you hit about 70, which is crazy.
I think
because it used to be 50.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I also think it's where you're born and raised. Because I see
That's true too.
my parents back east who have done now 80 plus winters.
Yeah.
And that's a lot different than being 80 living out here.
no doubt.
100% different things.
It's
It's
true.
crazy. Winters are tough.
I travel with my own blue zone wherever I go.
They were.
Yeah. I know, Studio 666. I watched that recently too. I don't know why he would make something like that, like after, even Kurt being killed. Seems like things could have went a way better way in so many people's careers. Right. Moment here. One second.
It's actually a hard gig.
Do you remember? Okay, so we're back with the Lawrence brothers, but Steve Burns is now actually doing his own podcast where he's getting adults. So Steve Burns was actually Steve from Blue's Clues, the original Blue's Clues. And now he's doing his own podcast for adults. And he's trying to connect to people's hearts and everything by doing the same thing he did for kids back in the late 90s, early 2000s with Blue's Clues by talking to the camera. But he's doing that as an adult now and talking about things like death, suicide, the awful things happening in the world. And he joins the brothers right here.
Blue's Clues was actually kind of hard for me to do, even though I loved it and I was proud of it and I knew I had a great thing going. It was actually a hard gig for me. It was way later in my life that I kind of was able to look back and like learn a lesson that Steve taught every day on that show, which was I would stand in front of the camera and ask for help.
That's so cool, man. Wow, that's really cool.
And it wasn't until I did that in the moment I did that in my life, it was the most transformative thing that ever happened in my life.
Happy Friday, everybody! Thanks so much. This is the Brotherly Love Pod in the house.
Wow.
And we have
This is crazy.
All right, we have a live audience with our pod, guys, here in Richmond, Virginia. At
Shout out to Richmond!
all right, GalaxyCon. At the GalaxyCon, pretty amazing.
Very happy to be here. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Yes, we do.
Right, I used to watch that at the same time. I remember I had the blow-up couch,
Real strength means relief of your worst flu symptoms. With that.
the red couch, and it was called the thinking chair with a notepad. It was great. That was like 1999, 2000.
Blue's Clues that you started losing your hair too,
Fast.
and it really weirded you out, right? 'Cause you're doing like a kid show, and didn't you say something like, "I'm not putting words in your mouth," or something to the extent of like, "I don't want to lose my hair in front of all these kids on a kid show," or something?
It wasn't so much a vanity thing as it was like I had to occupy a specific space.
Right.
Like
Right.
I am not your peer. I'm maybe your older brother. Like I'm sort of a kid, man, child thing.
Yeah.
And my hair was going like so fast. I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
And
Oh my God.
And I was like, I took a good look at my wardrobe and I realized these people are not going to find an appropriate wig for me. There will be,
oh God.
there will be,
You don't look like, yeah, man.
there will be no dignity in the Nick Jr. toupee.
Oh my God.
You know.
Oh my
So
God.
You're smart. Yeah.
And also, I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was time. You know, I had done so many episodes of that show
I get it.
where I was like, am I really doing my best anymore? And am I aging out of what this needs to be?
Yeah.
Is what it really kind of came
And
down
you
to.
did you never intended to be in the kid space like that, right? How did that happen? How did like Blue's Clues happen? And what was your background
It's such a
initially?
phenomenon.
Because it was.
It became like
It was.
It almost didn't happen, which is the weirdest thing because, you know, I moved to New York like when I was 21
From where?
from nowhere, Pennsylvania.
Okay, if you had ended in nowhere, I would have been like, oh, nowhere? Okay.
Pennsylvania. Is that a Moose Etheridge song?
I'm from Philly.
Where are you from Philly? I'm from
Yeah.
Pottstown.
Pottstown, okay.
Wow.
Cool, man.
Yeah. People from Philly know where Pottstown is.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I did know you guys were from Philly, and I forgot that till
That's
right now,
great.
but I did know that.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Italian.
Well,
So,
hey,
wow.
buddy. Paisan.
What up, man?
Yeah, no wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder we're sitting here today.
Yeah. Boopy, boopy, boppy.
But anyway, so I moved to New York to fail privately as Al Pacino. You know, like, when I was in college, I won like an acting award, like a national acting award for being really serious, like super pretentious, like ridiculously serious.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know what I'm talking
Of
about.
course.
And that's what I thought I was going to do when I came to New York.
That's crazy.
Because that's what I thought I was good at.
Yeah.
And Blue's Clues was like, I don't know, my 4th audition or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought it was to be the voice of an animated character.
Wow.
And the truth is, I swear to God, if I had known it was to be the guy on the show, I probably wouldn't have gone.
No way. Isn't that crazy?
Not because I was like poo-pooing children's TV. It's just that I thought there would be no way that would be something I could even do. I had long hair. I had earrings. I smoked. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
You know, it was this guy's perfect. Yeah.
Listen to me, kids.
That's the guy.
That era, kind of.
You're learning your ABCs. You got to, sing a song. It's gonna be great.
But
we love it. This is the guy for kids.
He's like the Pacino for the youth.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Dangerous actor.
But no,
Learn to count, kids. That's not all you want to know. Trust me. It's not all you want to know. That could be your slogan. Pacino for kids.
But I kind of blew the audition, and that's how I got the job. Because the show, it was written like a game show. It was written like kind of like a Nickelodeon game show, where you're like, which one is the triangle? Do you know? You guessed it. Great job. Like you win a prize kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And
I Double Dare.
Yeah. Oh, well, not quite that, but more like a game show.
Yeah.
And I got there and I was like, oh hell no, I'm gonna act the shit out of this. You know. So if if this was too close to the camera, I was like here. I was like, which one is it? Do you know?
Dude, it worked.
I made this whole thing about how I was like being like I didn't know and I needed them to know, and it was really weird. I remember in the audition, it was
perfect.
Weird. It was like actually weird in the room.
This guy's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Perfect for kids.
And the deal is, the creators of the show saw that and they were like, huh, that's weird. But that kind of works. And Nickelodeon was like, no, we want someone more conventionally handsome.
Okay.
Like one of these guys, right?
Okay. No.
And so the deal was, they had me, they showed the tapes to kids and videotaped the responses and showed that to Nickelodeon, right? And so, like, handsome guy, it was me and like a conventionally handsome guy.
That's
down
awesome,
for the
Mom.
job. And the handsome dude was like, which one is the triangle?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Do you know? Hey,
oh my gosh.
Good job.
Oh my gosh.
And the kids in the room were like,
yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're like, it's over there. It's that one, man. It's that one.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
quirky weird guy comes up and I'm like, which one do you know? And the kids are like, we have to help this man. We have to help him. We must help him. And they're like crawling over each other, touching the screen. Some of them are mad at me. They're like, what unit's right there? You know? You idiot! Exactly.
Perfect.
So whatever crazy, you guys know how this is. Like whatever desperate choice I made in that audition because I felt like I shouldn't be there was the thing that got me that job.
It's so ironic sometimes.
The intimacy, though, that you created, like you would. I mean, I was a kid. I remember you drew. I was pulled in. I really was, man.
There was an innate investment that you just had. Apparently, you know what I mean? I think that was it. You just seemed extremely invested in their journey. And I think, and it's so funny, like what makes a great host, right? And I got my start in what arguably was the greatest late night host of all time, which was Johnny Carson, right? And we've seen great hosts throughout their careers. Like Ryan Seacrest is a great host because he has an investment in whatever you're doing, in those people, whether it's contestants on American Idol or whether it's on his radio show, whatever it is, you just genuinely feel, whether it's true or not, he's able to make you believe that he's extremely invested in the journey of who's watching, and you did that. And I think that's great hosting. I think that's what it is.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly those two are great.
Yeah.
Blue's Clues was a little bit breakthrough in one way, which in many ways, but in I think one very important way. Like a lot of kids TV, it's kind of a convention of kids TV that it talks to the camera, right? Everyone talks to the camera in kids TV.
Right.
Blues,
Rogers, Sesame Street.
But you waited for an answer.
We listened to
Yes.
the camera.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And I tried to make that as believable as possible, as viable as possible. And I didn't think it was going to work. I was like, there's no way. This is too weird. There's no way this is the Rocky Horror Children's Show. This isn't going to be a thing. But then y'all responded, so
There was so
Yeah,
much
they did.
authenticity in the weirdness. We couldn't help it.
authentically weird. Man.
Dude, seriously, it was such a huge.
Now, see, all this weight, and I'm gonna bring the levity back into it when it comes to just making weird choices and somebody getting the role. I had this big screen test for this big show with all these incredible people, right? And it was me and this other guy, and I show up, and I'm really, I've trained them.
Progressive Glasses Wearers, kids.ca is going to
I
actually
knew
change
it.
your life, but you
I blame Mark Lanigan for that ad.
don't have to take our.
I'm kidding. That's so cool that he lived right next to. They did the CD for In Utero right next to David Copperfield. I really like David Blaine, Chris Angel a lot, but yeah, more so Chris Angel.
Right? And it was me and this other guy, and I show up, and I'm really, I've trained, I'm really clear-minded, I'm focused, and this guy is drunk, and he says, watch this, I'm going to roll in there and do a backflip and get the part. And he rolled in there and did a backflip, and I roared and gave him the part. So sometimes you can do these random choices, and it really does come down to just
Moral of the story: start drinking. Each and every one of you. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Just
true.
kidding.
Be a functioning drunk. That's Matt's advice. No,
Well, I guess people want to be surprised.
they want to be surprised.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like when they don't really know what they want, if you do something that's very unexpected and very different, it's the human nature is that they go, maybe that's what we want. Maybe because it was so different, Exactly. But did you? And I'm not going to get too heavy here, but you've read and or we've read that you got depressed when you were making the show, or what? How did that? What was the journey of that?
Yeah, well,
Because you were 100 and some episodes in, you're winning Emmys and all this stuff, but you were like,
I never. Elmo won all the Emmys. I didn't win it.
sorry about that, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Hollywood is like, yeah. They can get away with pretty much anything. I actually want to go over something that's really actually inspirational. And I think we need that as I break in between and speak about everything. One moment.
Everything that I have.
All right. Let's go with this for the next 5 minutes. And then we'll get into some stuff. But this is Chris Angel. And great advice by Chris Angel for the next 5 minutes we're going to listen to hopefully feel better and positive today.
Everything that I have, that I own, I worked for. Nothing was a gift. And anyone watching this right now can go out and do it. I always say to my audience that I'm not special, I'm not different. I'm like everybody out there, young and old. If you have a dream, you can live your dream, but there's no substitute for sweat equity, for passion, and for perseverance to understand what you want, to put together a realistic goal, and to work toward it no matter how long it takes to accomplish. Eventually, you can live your dream like I'm living mine. And one of the things that I find in society today is there's more negativity than ever. And it's very dangerous if you allow yourself, especially a young person that has a dream, to allow that to come in
and infiltrate their mind in a way where they doubt themselves. You always have to believe in yourself. I believe that the mind controls the body. The body's just a slave to the mind, and what you think is what you are. And your body follows suit. If you believe it, eventually it will happen. It's why athletes visualize their high jump, what that fight looks like before they even get into a ring. It's all about how you prepare yourself mentally with whatever task is at hand. In today's society, it's very easy to become like an entitlement society that you want handouts. You don't want to have to work hard. And I think that's very dangerous because I think that sense of self-worth and gratification comes from putting in that sweat equity. The harder it is to achieve a goal, the sweeter it is. If it were easy, everybody would be accomplishing it, right? And that's true no matter if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer or a magician or a singer or, whatever it is. Life is death without change. Are you willing to make a change in your life, to realize a dream, to fulfill what's in your mind, what you can visualize as your life? And are you willing to put the sweat equity, the time, the persistency that it takes, not on your timetable, but on fate's timetable? If you are, then you have to educate yourself in whatever that subject matter is. You have to immerse yourself in that. Get as much knowledge, as much information. And my dad always used to say to me, you want to be successful, hang around successful people that are more successful than you. If you hang out with shit, you start to smell like that. Immerse yourself with people that are doing what you want to do and understand how they think and what they think. See the things that are correct and also see the things that are not correct so that you learn from their mistakes, right? And then you can't be scared to fail. Failure is the next step to success because with failure, you're learning what not to do. So it's acquiring all the information, it's taking a chance, it's putting yourself out there in a way that might be a little uncomfortable. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to have criticism. You have to be willing to listen to people that you can trust, whether it's your intimate friends, your spouse, your family, to get their advice. And, depending upon what it is, I say do it for free. Just to get that experience, that on-the-job training that is so imperative, even if it requires school. Do it, as a side job, so as an intern, to really see what's involved. So I could sit there and say, go for it, but at the end of the day, that may not make a difference. It's like telling a smoker to stop smoking. They're not going to want to stop smoking unless they want to stop smoking. I would say that each person should be the best they can be. Some people are better looking, some people are smarter, some people have different attributes, different talents. I say use that talent to the best of your ability to maximize the value of your life and see that you're using it and that you're happy doing it. And that's what I think is the most important thing. Success is measured by happiness, not by who you are, how much money you have, or what car you have. That, to me, is what I believe happiness is, and success.
I'm glad Chris Angel isn't in the Epstein stuff. He actually came from a hard-working background, unlike Courtney that just leached off everybody. I could see him and Kurt Cobain connecting. They were like really cool, powerful people that just had an influence out of nowhere that was so strong. I'll be right back. Just kind of like Bam Margera and Tony Hawk. It is Friday. Mm-hmm.
We're on stage. This is the first time I've ever done something, but it was you, and I wanted to do something special, and I figured this would be a great opportunity to do it right here.
Thank you, man. That really means a lot. And, so that people know, we really do know each other quite well. I actually went on a two-city tour with you on the East Coast when you took the show on the road. And watching your work ethic is insane. And what you do and the way that you have persevered against all odds. Walk us through, in your house, which I've had the very good fortune of going to, there are two things framed next to each other. One is a rejection letter, and then one is a newspaper clipping. Tell people about that.
Well, I came to Vegas in the 90s for the first time, and I had big dreams, and saw a lot of billboards of Siegfried and Roy, and wanted to live my dream like so many others prior to me. And I went to a management company that was a C-level agency and asked if they would rep me, and basically got a rejection letter, not from the person, but from his assistant, kind of passing on me and wishing me the best of luck. Right. Well, that can do two things to a person. It could fuel you, or it could make you want to give up. For me, it was my fuel, because I really believed in myself. And so in my office, I have that, and next to it, I have a story from a very significant publication talking about the types of dollars I bring in.
So that to me is like the perfect place to begin telling your story, because I find that people look at a tableau of success, right? They look at what you've accomplished and they coin you the overnight success, right? Which is ironic, of course, because you really earned your reputation. This is one of my favorite stories about you. You earned your reputation as a grinder, right? So there's that story about the Halloween convention where you did the same, I love this, the same 10-minute magic routine 50 to 60 times a day, right? For 12 days.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. I did about 600 shows in a period of, I think, 11 or 12 days. And I did whatever I had to do. I was desperate to realize my dream. I worked 18 years, as I said, to become an overnight success. Dreamt about it even longer than that. And was willing to do whatever I had to do to get one step closer to my dream. And so I did a lot of shows. I've done shows for free. I've done birthday parties. I've done corporate shows. I've played in S&M clubs. I've played in gay clubs. I played in straight clubs. I played wherever I could get an audience. And that really allowed me to hone my skills as a performer, as a producer.
Just like how Chris said, to do things for free if you enjoy it. And yeah, I'm monetized now. I make some money here, but I like doing the videos that aren't monetized, where I can use Nirvana songs and actually make a really cool video. And I don't care that it doesn't make money. I fucking like making it. It's cool. And then I get to smoke pot and watch it after, and I love it. And to share it with people is really cool, that people that actually care to see it now. Because I remember making videos just for myself, and I'd send it on like Facebook Messenger to people before I had this YouTube, and I just liked people seeing it. I liked seeing it too. I'd make it really cool, and that's why I liked people seeing it. That would be awesome, Mackenzie. Yeah, if you can get your podcast, I'll be on it. I'll speak about what I've went through and what I'm doing and everything that Joe Burns has said without altering it. Here we go.
As a creator. And then I also went on public access TV. And it cost me money to do that, but I wanted that experience when I was in my teens.
Right.
I did whatever I had to do to learn the business, because my family didn't come from an entertainment background. I was the first. And being the first means that you have to get educated. And my dad always taught me that if you wanted to be good at something, you had to understand all the different aspects of that business. My dad was in the restaurant business, so he washed dishes, he swept the floor, he was the cashier, he was the cook, he was the host, he was the boss. And he really instilled in me to really understand all aspects of what I wanted to accomplish.
What he did is he's lying about Danny's involvement as being a killer. And if anything, Danny's just responsible for getting Courtney to Seattle and then being there on the 8th. But even like Danny said, like Matthew and Jason want to make a big point. Oh, he was there at the house. Yeah, on the 8th, on Friday. There was hundreds of people there that day, if not thousands. Danny was one of those thousands or hundreds of people that day. That doesn't mean he's the killer. That could mean anybody's the killer out of all those people, if they want to do that. He was killed on Sunday. Mark's even in that photo, like referencing Sunday, smirking. There's so much that even points to it, but he did lie about Danny's involvement, and he got Joe to agree for him to put that in the book about why he doesn't want to put the certain timelines in the book in chapter 6 when it gets into everything that we want to know. They're covering up Thursday, April 7th, 1994, Courtney and Tom and Dylan and Mark all being there together.
In order to be able to appreciate and strategize the best game plan to accomplish it.
Right. Yeah, it's clearly whatever game plan you put together really worked. Sheer force of will is how I think about it, and being around you, that's what it feels like. And one thing for anybody watching at home, the most interesting...
Yeah, he did. Mark Lanigan was there. He was the one that attacked and killed Kurt. Dylan was there. But Chris Todd is lying about Danny being there on that day, on Sunday, April 3rd. And they're also trying to cover up Thursday, April 7th, when Tom and Courtney were there and seen the body with Dylan. Remember, even Chris Todd said, I believe the private investigator seen the body a day before the police did, but I'm not going to go into that. They're covering it up. And he got Joe to agree to cover it up. Manipulated Joe. Joe is being manipulated. He doesn't want that. Joe is for the truth and speaking it, even if it's about racism or whatever. Joe is going to fucking be honest. It's Chris Todd that's manipulating the fucking situation. And he's giving Joe money. So if Joe dies, you know who to blame. Because, how do I say this? Some people relapse, but then they get sober, but then they relapse, but then they get sober. I gotta be really careful with what I say. Unfortunately, but if Joe dies, it's on Chris Todd. Just like it is with Danny. It sucks. Even though I want this and that, whatever, you did bully my friend and get him to kill himself by pretending to take his medication but stopping it and having a heart attack. And in between that, telling people he was going to die because he knew what he was doing. That's not good.
Thing when you get to spend time with him is he's always on. You're always working. And even just now when I met you backstage, there was something you guys are trying to work on for the show, and your mind is working.
And it would be for the benefit of Courtney Love. And I have Danny saying that even on video, and I will put that out.
You hugged and you said, oh God, I shouldn't do that because I'm sick. And I'm like, of course, but no one would ever know. Like you're always pushing it forward. And the question becomes, how the hell, after all this success, do you stay so hungry to just keep getting better, right? Because you could have let Believe just run its course, right? You could have finished out the contract, making stupid money. It can't be about the money anymore.
No.
But you didn't. You wanted to rejuvenate and have.
Well, for me, as Bill Aucoin, a great manager of Kiss and Billy Idol back in the day, once told me when I was sitting next to a garbage dumpster, very depressed. He said the journey is much greater than a destination. And what he meant by that, it's a lot easier to get where you want to go, even though it seems very difficult at the time. But once you get there, to remain the most relevant at your craft takes even more work. And so for me, I never look over my shoulder at what others are doing or what I have done. I always look ahead into the future about what I want to do. And I never believe my own hype, you know?
Courtney does. Yeah, you have to forgive all the people involved to find the truth. Doesn't mean you can't be angry at them or bring them to justice. The pain and hate will eat you, and it does, regardless of anything, even if it's a family thing where you hate them or whatever, or you're mad at them, it'll eat at you. Like a personal thing too, with your own family. This is personal too. And you really do. I don't think I would have had those 2 dreams with Mark if I didn't, say to him in my mind in heart that I forgive him and that I don't want things to get worse. I really want things to get better because I know we're spirit beings as well, and I don't want it to get any worse. And ever since I really communicated that with Mark's spirit, I've had dreams where nothing wrong has happened, but I've had 2 dreams with him, and he hasn't said anything in either one. I know, but I'm like, Chloe, we could lay right down right now in our beds and have sleep paralysis. I don't want it to be a scary experience when we think about Kurt Cobain and Mark Lanegan. I'd rather when we're here and awake that we try to do good, at least with our hearts, and we come from a good motive. And that way, when we're in that state of sleep paralysis or anything like that, it won't be scary, when we think about what we frequently think about, which is Kurt Cobain and what happened to him. And we can make things better. We're all connected consciously with our own spirits together. So, if we're eternal, I really, this is really bad right now. If there's a possibility that we are spirit beings and that we're eternal and that we are consciousness, which we are, then I don't want to keep going in a really bad, gory way. Do you? I don't. Well, sleep paralysis is the same thing as an out-of-body experience and lucid dreaming and remote viewing. You're just realizing that your consciousness perceiving yourself outside of your third dimension body, which you knew when you were a baby and you were supposed to remain aware of all the way up to right now. Yeah, astral projection, remote viewing, near-death experiences, sleep paralysis. It's all the same thing. You are consciousness, spirit, and so is everybody else around you. That's why even when you go out and you have certain projections in your mind, like people can pick up on things, and we're all consciously, for the most part, unconsciously connected to each other. We're spirit beings since we were a baby. We were just energy before that, but then we came into a human body form, and we live on forever like this, even in other dimensions. And we're supposed to do the spiritual work. Our own lucid dreaming and creating, safe places for ourselves with meditation. Those are real places that we can go to in those states. And we're supposed to care about that and do that, but we're so distracted every single day with so much media and everything else, and war. And what are they trying to hide? Why are they fighting? They want power. They want to destroy us spiritually and mentally and physically. I don't think it should be the Epstein, A-lister celebrities, the elite people that understand this knowledge. I don't think it should just be them. I think we should all know it together. And I think Kurt Cobain would have agreed. I know Joe would agree with that. And I know he does. I think it should be all of us that understands this stuff. Not just a certain circle of people that are really corrupt and horrible and really popular and famous and viewed as great. And basically all part of the Epstein Black Book and Freemasonry. I smoke I think it's indica. It's a Night Rider. The kind that puts you to sleep. That's why I sound so tired a lot. Here we go. Chris Angel.
I'm only as good as my last show. And I'm only as good as my next show. And for me, it's about that nexus between what I've done and what I want to do in order to grow as a human being and as an artist.
How do you motivate yourself when you're sick, tired, exhausted? Like, how do you keep? You never missed a show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I've never
indica.
missed a show outside of when my son was diagnosed with cancer. And I had to immediately, I took off of Believe, Cirque, and Luxor were great in allowing me to go and see my son immediately in Australia, which was for a week. But outside of that, I've never missed a show in my life. I'm very focused, I'm very disciplined, and I think that that kind of passion and tenacity and stick-to-itiveness is what allowed me to flourish. Magic changed my life, and magic has changed many lives. Not in a sense of, hey, I want to be a magician, but in the sense of inspiring, showing people that, you know what, anything is possible. It might look impossible, but it can be possible if you put your mind to how to accomplish it. Right. And so I always say to my audience that I'm not special, I'm not different. I'm like everybody out there, young and old. If you have a dream, you can live your dream, but there's no substitute for sweat equity, for passion, and for perseverance to understand what you want, to put together a realistic goal, and to work toward it no matter how long it takes to accomplish. Eventually, you can live your dream like I'm living mine. And one of the things that I find in society today is there's more negativity than ever. And it's very dangerous if you allow yourself, especially a young person that has a dream, to allow that to come in and infiltrate their mind in a way where they doubt themselves. You always have to believe in yourself. That is so important. If you don't believe it, no one else will.
How do you handle self-doubt?
I'm a very confident person because I put the sweat equity in.
Right.
I'm very confident because I've done my due diligence. I mean, I work 21, 23 hours a day. I work 7 days a week. I believe that the mind controls the body. The body's just a slave to the mind. And what you think is what you are. And your body follows suit. If you believe it, eventually it will happen. It's why athletes visualize their high jump, what that fight looks like before they even get into a ring. It's all about how you prepare yourself mentally with whatever task is at hand.
Yeah, that's what I love about magic. So I've told this story many times about how you and I actually came to know each other. I love magic. I've taken classes at the Magic Castle. I've got my small repertoire of tricks that I'll do in private. And what I absolutely fell in love with magic for is exactly what you're talking about, and it's what I respect in you as an artist. Is why I really wanted to get you on the show.
Absolutely.
Is you have confidence because you've put in the sweat equity, right? You know that you've done the work to truly be the best you that you can be. And look, maybe it fails, whatever, it almost doesn't matter, because you're going to show up every day, sick or not, doesn't matter. You're going to show up every day and you're going to give everything you have. And what makes magic magic, and this is where I think people almost cheapen it by saying, well, there must be something supernatural. And there's not, right? You're just like everybody else. You don't claim to be a psychic or anything like that. But what you have done that is truly magical, in my opinion, is you've just dug so deeply into something to figure out either the psychology or the physics or the engineering. I mean, whatever it is that you need to pull off the illusion, even if it's sleight of hand or something grander than that, but you put in that work. Whether you want to be successful in business or directly in magic, it's the same thing, right? It's putting in that sweat equity of doing so much work that people will sooner believe that you're a psychic,
right? Because
than
you
believe
do it
you
well.
worked that hard, right?
Because you do it well.
It's incredible,
right? That's the payoff. If you do something really well in magic, it looks effortless. Just like, you take a great basketball player or an athlete that makes their job look easy, and then somebody goes on the court and realizes how hard it is to score a basket. It's that, as they say, 10,000 hours that makes it look effortless. But I think it's not just in magic. I think it's a life lesson. I mean, no matter what you want out of life. And I think in today's society, it's very easy to become like an entitlement society, that you want handouts. You don't want to have to work hard. And I think that's very dangerous, because I think that sense of self-worth and gratification comes from putting in that sweat equity. The harder it is to achieve a goal, the sweeter it is. If it were easy, everybody would be accomplishing it, right? And that's true no matter if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer or a magician or a singer or, whatever it is. Why are certain, companies that have bars not successful? Why is Quest just the number one bar? It's because you believed in it. You and your partners believed in it. You used the product. You understood what was needed and where there was a void in the marketplace, and you filled it, and you did it wholeheartedly. And that's why I use your product. That's why I endorse your product, because it is for real. It's not just thrown together to make money. It's never about money. If you set out to do something for money, 9 out of 10 times it will not work out. When you set out to do something out of passion, money's a byproduct.
Yeah, that's so true. And I want to talk about your father for a second. Is that something that you learned from him?
Absolutely. My dad, my dad busted his ass to provide a better life for his children. He never had a handout. He wouldn't take a handout. He was too proud. And he showed us at a very young age, when I was probably 10 years old, how to sell things, sell musical instruments. He would, if I wanted a new drum set, I had to sell my drum set. I had to earn money. I had to work at the restaurant. I had to wash dishes. I had to then grow up and get into being a cashier and deal with money and bookkeeping. And sometimes that is more valuable than going to college. And for me, with magic and having that background and having that passion and desire to be the best and to want to learn whatever I didn't know, to become the best and to understand what I needed to understand in the business aspect, I did for many years. In school, I was in slow classes. I couldn't retain information. I couldn't really write well. And then I had to put together a business plan when my dad was sick. And I had to write a business plan, a book, essentially, to get investors to put money into my dream. And I had to figure out how to do that and how to put that together and how to write that. And that process, which took me about a year to do, really perpetuated my ability to communicate writing. And it's grown since then. So I'm somebody that will learn whatever I need to learn in order to achieve what I have in my mind. And there's nothing that will stop me from doing that. That's my attribute. That's what I'm good at. I'm not the greatest magician. I'm not the greatest singer. I'm not the greatest dancer. But when I'm committed to create something that I have in my mind that I believe is unique and different, I'll work 24/7 to provide that experience.
Yeah, I've witnessed that. And I think so you obviously have, your persona is so unique and so different and so a crow left of the murder, as it were. How did you have the guts and the belief in your vision? Because even your family, and I've met your mom, lovely human being, she's amazing. But she wanted you to be a lawyer or a doctor. I mean, it's literally the classic tale, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. So how did you, and in the beginning, you were way more gothic than this. Like, I mean, the shot of you in Times Square with the face paint, the really long hair, I just thought, how did he have the guts to be that?
Well, I told my mom if I wasn't going to go to college, and if I wasn't a millionaire by the time I was 18, I would go to college. Well, neither one of those two things I promised came true. Eventually, it came true, one of them. But for me, I just thought magic was really hokey. It was like not a product of the times. It was presented as kind of this cheap, hokey novelty, and it never really garnered the respect that, say, the cinema or that the music industry did. And I think it was because it was this niche-y kind of way that people were presenting it. And to think that magic, which was a beautiful art form, but didn't have the right sensibility for pop culture, I just thought there was a huge opening there. And it was really me. It wasn't something that was contrived. I mean, I was a student and a product of MTV. You know, I love Dali and Fellini and wanted to incorporate that stuff in my art. I studied music for 12 years. So music was a natural influence in my magic. So I wasn't going to use the kind of cheesy music and approach that many people did, which worked for them, but not for me. I mean, my whole thing was youth, was pop culture, was excitement, energy, spectacle, and bringing something to magic that had never been present. And I think that's what engaged the public in such a significant way. And I think the greater reason why I really caught on fire with Mind Freak was the message, was there was something more to the tricks than just tricks. It was the magic of emotion. It was the ability to connect to people on an emotional, visceral level. And it enabled people to connect to me and get the greater message, which was positivity.
Yeah, it's that's so spot on the money, and you're super, super self-aware. And I wonder how much of that is just you in your own head thinking through things. Like, how did you begin to put those puzzle pieces together? And the reason I'm asking is I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about the kids at home, right? Somebody tuning in, either they're way deep into their life, 30, 40, they realize they're living someone else's life and have been their whole time, or they're a teenager, they're coming up and they're about to hit a crossroads. And in that moment, they don't have the, I fear, self-awareness that you have. They definitely do not have the self-confidence that you have. And they don't yet have the mental framework to understand, well, you've got to become confident, right? You've got to have the belief to believe in yourself. What are things that person can do to find their voice, right? In the din of all the other people barking at them to be a doctor or a lawyer, how do they find that thing that's authentically them?
It's simple. Be true to yourself. Being a doctor, a lawyer, a millionaire, an entrepreneur, doesn't equate to happiness. What equates to happiness is doing what you love. And the things that you can't buy are the most valuable: love, health, and happiness. Society has put essentially a factor of relating success to money, to purchasing things. And when you come into money, you purchase all these things and you realize it doesn't make you happy.
Right.
So, you know, my dad always told me to set a goal, set a goal, set a goal. Well, I've achieved my goal and then some. But I also sacrificed so much of my life to do that. Now, in hindsight, was it worth it? Was it worth taking time that I could have had with family, with loved ones, with my dad before he passed on, to achieve a goal? I don't know. And that's a question that everybody has to answer for themselves. But don't do something that you're doing because of money. I mean, I know we live in a society where you have to pay bills, but you can do that fairly easy. And you don't have to sacrifice so much to do that. I'm contradicting my whole life, but it's where I've come to a place where I question that. You know, my success, what I do is amazing, but I'm also a slave to it. It's a love-hate relationship. I'm just being completely honest with all the people that are watching.
I love that.
And I find that people that are in similar situations to me have the same love-hate kind of mentality. It's almost like a drug, and I don't do drugs, but my career is like a drug that you want to fix, but then you want to take a rest, but then you want to fix, but then you want to take a rest. And it's this vicious cycle. When I'm on stage, there's no greater feeling. The audiences are amazing, seeing people cheer and applaud and have that sense of wonderment and happiness in their life, and to give them the ability to have that 90 minutes of escapism, escaping reality, escaping their problems, and seeing that anything is possible is beautiful. But there's never any Chris time. And that's a balance I have to find. So to answer that question, for me, is kind of unfair because I haven't really found the true meaning of happiness, the true essence of what that means. I'm happy sometimes. I'm happy with my career, but I'm not happy all the time. I mean, what person is? I don't know if that exists. But I think being true to yourself is something that sounds easy, but is probably harder than it sounds.
Can we really muddy the waters for a second?
Sure.
All right, let's get a little crazy.
Yeah.
So you've touched on something that is at the center of my life. My business partner, Ron, and I call it the sickness. And in a minute, as I tell the story, think about what your answer is going to be. But if somebody's really, really thinking about achieving at the highest level, echoing as I call it, they want to echo on a global scale, should they do it or not? We're both going to answer that in a second. But first, the sickness, right? So as I was taking my notes on what you and I were going to talk about, that kept coming into my mind. Of all the people that I know, dude, honestly, you're the one most driven by the sickness. Now, that sickness to me is hunger, but it's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful hunger, and it lives in me, and it drives me, and it pushes me to do something great. And I think of it when I think about the people that have really impacted me, many of them through commerce. The first one that comes to mind is Steve Jobs with Apple and what he did and how I felt, in the early days of those computers, and seeing that ad that was like, the ones crazy enough to believe they can change the world actually do. Like, I have the chills now just saying it. And when I was watching that commercial, I fell in love with the idea of using an economic vehicle to change the world. That's a huge part of why I ended up doing what we're doing at Quest, is really believing through these products and through painting a picture for people,
you can make a difference.
You can really make a difference, like, for real. But to stay hungry, there's a great quote introduced to me by Bo Eason. He didn't say it, but he introduced me to it. And he said, it's called Hunger in Paradise, right? How do you stay hungry in paradise? Like you, beyond my wildest dreams, Chris. My dreams have come true. Like wealth creation, impact on people's lives, all of it. But I'm more driven today than I was when I was literally starving, right? Trying to scrounge and buying 3 burritos for 99 cents, and right? Like, right. I'm more driven and more hungry now because I can feel like the scale on which I can impact people grows. And as the scale on which I can impact people grows, the more I'm hungry for that fix, the more I want to do, the more hours I spend doing it, and the more I realize that sickness is at the center of my life. But it's beautiful, right? And I love it. But I get the melancholy that you're talking about.
But here's the thing. If you died right now and your life was over, would you feel content?
It's an interesting question. I'll answer it in the way that I view the world. I am never content. That word in particular, I find I don't chase contentedness. In fact, I would get a little tense if I became content. Because content will draw me back from having the impact.
Would you feel fulfilled?
Yes, I feel fulfilled in my life right now, definitely. And it's not as high a fulfillment as I would like, and I'm not in some Zen state, but I try to set my life up in a way where I'm outward facing as much as inward, so that I'm helping other people as much as I'm helping myself. That definitely.
Well, that's important. So for me, what I've done and what I've discovered through my child, I've been working with children since 2001, and I didn't do it for any public attention. This is before I was even known as Chris Angel, and I did, work with children with cancer and different charities and organizations to benefit kids. And then I worked a lot with Make-A-Wish and children's pediatric cancer. And then I had my son, who was diagnosed with ALL before he was even 2 years young. And I've realized, and I believe wholeheartedly, that the reason why I am blessed with so much success beyond my wildest dreams is to do my work for the greater good of children. And that is my life mission right now. That trumps my show, trumps my TV show, trumps anything I do. All of this is to be utilized to bring awareness, research, and treatment to hopefully find the cure for pediatric cancer, to make it eventually disappear. September 12th is the biggest event of my life. On this stage, I'm trying to raise $1 million in one night. 100% of the proceeds will go to pediatric cancer for research and treatment. I'm funding it out of my own pocket. I have incredible celebrity friends that are joining me on this stage, like Jerry Lewis, Tony Orlando, Wayne Newton, Siegfried and Roy, Gary Oldman, Bon Jovi's Richie Sambora, Gene Simmons of Kiss. I even got Oprah Winfrey, Celine Dion, Jennifer Lopez, Britney Spears, Elton John to contribute.
Wow.
This is going to be one of the biggest events, and I'm hoping it's going to become an annual television event, like the telethon, but a modern day version of it. Because I see these kids, I see what these kids go through, and one child every 3 minutes will be diagnosed with pediatric cancer. I believe this is the beginning and the start of my life's work, which is to use my celebrity, to use my fame, and to use the dollars that I've been blessed to have for these children, to be a champion and a voice for these kids. And that's where I believe my happiness will ultimately lie.
It's beautiful beyond measure, and obviously you and I had talked about that, and I think what you're doing is incredible. And I know that it actually you were doing something very similar with your father and the foundation with him.
Right.
I just want to clarify one thing you said about you funding this yourself. You pay all the administrative costs, all that, to make sure that 100% of the donations actually end up used.
I don't believe in, just personally speaking, in charity that takes out administration costs, that takes out any expenses. It should cost you time, and if you have money, it should cost you money. That is the true meaning of charity for me. And I believe that that's what I meant to do. And I believe that's why I have a child that has cancer. Johnny Christopher is an amazing kid. He changed my life. And he'll be here at this event on September 12th. And if people want more information, you can go to ChrisAngelHelp.com. It's only $50 for a ticket to see this legendary show on September 12th. And if you can't be here, you can still make a difference. Go to ChrisAngelHelp.com to learn how.
It's amazing. And it goes back to the question that we both have to answer, which is there's people at home right now that they have to make a decision. Part of them wants to have the level of success that you've had. They want to pursue a path. It doesn't have to be in performing, but they want to pursue a path that ends in that sort of grand scale accomplishment. Knowing the kind of sickness, drive, what I call sickness, drive, hunger, discipline, everything that they're going to have to throw at that, how much sacrifice they will have to make in their life to make that happen, do you think they should do it?
Well, I think it doesn't matter what I say. I think it's either innate in you or it's not. You know what I mean? You get 10 people in a room. You have 10 different personalities, right? Some people choose to sit down. Some people choose to stand up. So I could sit there and say, go for it, go for it, go for it. But at the end of the day, that may not make a difference. It's like telling a smoker to stop smoking. They're not going to want to stop smoking unless they want to stop smoking. I would say that each person should be the best they can be. Some people are better looking. Some people are smarter. Some people have different attributes, different talents. I say use that talent to the best of your ability to maximize the value of your life, and see that you're using it and that you're happy doing it. And that's what I think is the most important thing. Success is measured by happiness, not by who you are, how much money you have, or what car you have. That, to me, is what I believe happiness is, and success.
I totally agree with that. And I totally agree with what you're saying about you can tell them all you want. Some people just, they don't have that. I am, however, a hopeless romantic. And so if you would allow, this is how I see it. Chris, I secretly hope that there are people out there for whom they need a nudge, one way or the other. And because I'm a much bigger believer in epigenetics than I am genetics, I think genetics plays a factor, obviously. The way you look, eye color, all that. There's going to be family resemblance, and there are certain things that just code in your DNA. I totally get that. There are also things, however, that code in epigenetics, so they respond to the environment. We have total control over them. We can change them at will. Because of that, and because my life is a result of some nudges that I received along the way that began to change my mindset and gave me different building blocks to build up. And literally the whole premise of the show is they're going to meet people like you, and they're going to hear that story that you told earlier about paying with sweat equity, and that you ground it out, and they're going to stop seeing the end result and start thinking about that journey that you're still on, and then realize, oh, well, okay, I may not be there, but I can take that first step, right? Sure. So my belief is that people, if they're considering going down that path, right, the path of really echoing in this world, if they're considering it, they should do it. Now, for all the people that don't want that, they want to live what I think of as a more monastic life. They want peace and tranquility, which is not what you get going down the other path of drive and hunger, and really, because I believe even the hunger and the drive is cultivated, right? So you're going to be doing things to keep yourself focused, to keep yourself driving forward. And the reason I think they should do it is exactly because of what you're doing with this modern day telethon. Because you have that hunger and drive, because somewhere down the line you decided Chris Angel was going to become what Chris Angel has become, and you were willing to pay the price to get there, you now have a tool set, right? Think of Liam Neeson and Take It. It's like he has a certain tool set, and he can use that tool set to do something. And that, to me, is what it's about. It's about acquiring those skills. But if you don't put yourself down the path of, I'm going to acquire as many skills as I can, and think about how many people you're going to be able to help, because that wasn't the life that they chose. And that, to me, like you said, that's an equally beautiful decision, right? If it's really what fulfills you, makes you happy, that's awesome. I don't pass any judgment on that. I'm just talking to the people for whom it's a nudge, one way or the other.
So here it is. Life is death without change. Are you willing to make a change in your life, to realize a dream, to fulfill what's in your mind, what you can visualize as your life? And are you willing to put the sweat equity, the time, the persistency that it takes, not on your timetable, but on fate's timetable? If you are, then you have to educate yourself in whatever that subject matter is. You have to immerse yourself in that. Get as much knowledge, as much information. And my dad always used to say to me, you want to be successful, hang around successful people that are more successful than you. If you hang out with shit, you start to smell like that. And it's true. So immerse yourself with people that are doing what you want to do, and understand how they think and what they think. See the things that are correct, and also see the things that are not correct, so that you learn from their mistakes, right? And then you can't be scared to fail. Failure is the next step to success, because with failure, you're learning what not to do. So it's acquiring all the information, it's taking a chance, it's putting yourself out there in a way that might be a little uncomfortable. You know, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to have criticism. You have to be willing to listen to people that you can trust, whether it's your intimate friends, your spouse, your family, to get their advice. And, you know, depending upon what it is, I say do it for free, just to get that experience, that on-the-job training that is so imperative, even if it requires school. Do it, as a side job, so as an intern, to really see what's involved. And I remember, speaking of that for myself, when I was 17 years young, I got invited by a guy named Vito Lupo, a magician, to go to Monte Carlo for 3 weeks. I had to pay for certain things, but basically I went there to be the technician in his box to hand him stuff without anybody ever seeing me from the stage. It was 3 weeks that cost me money to go inside a box and hand him a ball, hit a smoke machine, whatever I had, hand him a magic wand, whatever I had to do. And I would never trade that for anything. There's no substitute for that experience.
That is unbelievably good advice. It's exactly the advice I hope people take, because I think that's one of the only paths to success is somebody's young and inexperienced. I want to go back to something you were saying, because there's an awesome Criss Angel story around what you said about don't be afraid to make mistakes. This to me shows who you are. So when Believe, the first show, opened, it didn't get very good reviews.
It's horrible.
It was horrible.
Horrible.
I never saw it, so I can't say.
Yeah. The show was great. The problem with the show is that Criss Angel was in it. And everybody was coming to see what Criss Angel did on television, Mind Freak. And Cirque had me do a show where I wasn't playing Criss Angel. If there were another magician in the show, that show would have still been playing. It was a very good show. But yeah, I got my ass handed to me. And it was the very first Cirque production that ever had a star in it. So it wasn't a nameless face that the press was piling on. It was Criss Angel. And it was fun to pile on the bad boy that was on television with Mind Freak that had this, very big persona. Now, I could have walked away from that situation, or I could have dug deep. And there was no way I was walking away, because I knew what I was capable of. And I just needed the opportunity. And I put together the new version of Believe, which gained critical acclaim, gained incredible reviews from not only the press, but the public. And after 3,000 shows, I still wasn't content, because I knew I was capable of much more. Not because of money, not because of fame. It was because as an artist, I wasn't fulfilled, and I wanted to show myself, and I wanted to show the world, and I also wanted to perpetuate magic, which was such a beautiful art that has perpetuated me so far, that I wanted to give back to show that we can take leaps and bounds with technology, with revolutionary illusions, and with how we present it in creating an experience that magic has never seen before. And Cirque and Luxor gave me the opportunity, with an offer I could not refuse, as a director, as an executive producer, and as the creator, to do just that. And I took that opportunity, and I took things that I was working on for almost 20 years, and I put it together in 5 weeks. 5 weeks. The show closed. The old show was loaded out. The new show came in. I worked 23 hours, 15 minutes sometimes a day, 7 days a week with my incredible team, and we got it done. And we really created something that I believe will not be touched by the world of magic for 25 years. And I don't say that conceited. I say that rather confidently.
Yeah. And knowing the work that you put into it, I have no doubt. And that's the important thing. Like, as you were giving that advice, I thought, wow, this is the most real, meaning if you take this advice, it will actually work. And
I lived it. I lived it. I had every press person jumping, piling on, saying every possible thing you can say negative about me. And it was a dark time for me. Dave Barham was my rock. He was the guy who believed in me. I believed in myself. And we weathered a very difficult storm. And I might add that the shows that opened at that time, that were the darlings of the press, no longer exist. I'm still here. And you know, if you believe and you work hard, you can win the war. You might lose a battle or two.
Right. Man, it's just amazing. Like, I think when people, I believe one of the cornerstones of success from just a personality standpoint is the ability to what I call recenter emotionally. So you get hit, you get knocked, people are coming after you, whatever the case may be. Most people at that point, they shut down. That's it, right? That's the end. Like, they just fade away. And I know that people were expecting that of you. And I love that the pinnacle of your success came after that. When you said, you know, look, I'm not going to go out like that. I have a vision for my art. Yeah. Which I love the way you talk about magic and the reverence. So having been through your private collection, dude, it's so beautiful. The reverence with which you display it all, talk about it all, the things you have that really mean something to you. It's just super, super incredible to see somebody who fought through that, had to emotionally recenter, learn something new, to your dad's point about know more about it than anybody else, learn all the skills, immerse yourself. And then you made a show that was better and more you, and then went on to be a smash. And I've seen that show, the second incantation of Believe, 10 times minimum. Just amazing, and how the audience is, you know, when they're going to go crazy, right? Because you've so mastered the human psychology and connection, and it's just a really, really incredible experience. I know I'm fanboying out a little bit here, but that was so cool for me, and to be able to go backstage and to see how it's all put on, it's just. It really is impressive, man.
Yeah, and the thing is that I was never given money. Everything that I have, that I own, I worked for. Nothing was a gift. And anyone watching this right now can go out and do it. And the magicians that are out there that want to call me out and say this and say that, instead of wasting their energy doing that, go out and work and accomplish something greater than what I have.
Right.
Because actions speak a lot louder than words. Sure. You know, it's easy to talk, but the action is much more difficult. I think of this as a UFC fight. I'm a very competitive, I'm an athlete, and I look at it as a chess game. And it's me winning the goal of what I set for myself to accomplish. And whatever comes in my way, I'll be a ninja and get through it. However I have to do it, it will happen. Maybe not on my timetable, but it will happen. And you have to be that committed, that passionate, and that willing to be able to make adjustments so that you're flexible. You're like water. You can get through anything. And when you know something's not right, you have to fix it. And you have to correct it and then move forward.
What does the future look like for you? What's a goal that you've yet to accomplish?
Well, I have a brand new television special back home on A&E come this October. It's called Tricked with the Supernaturalists. It is by far the most provocative, up close, in your face, some might say obnoxious, magic TV special of all time. It's going to have the most revolutionary demonstrations with the biggest stars like Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson, which stood on this stage with me in my brand new revolutionary levitation where I floated all over the place, flew around, flipped around, flew from the stage right over the audience, through the lobby, through the casino, through the front doors.
That is crazy.
Paris said, if I weren't here seeing that, I could never believe that this was possible, that it wasn't camera tricks, movie magic, but I've seen it for myself, and the audience sees it for themselves every night that they come to Chris Angel Mind Freak Live here at the Luxor. So that's going to be in the show. You have, Steve Aoki, an incredible DJ, so successful on my show. You have someone like Paige Van Zandt, a young, incredible mixed martial artist who was just on Dancing with the Stars, who I'm doing an incredible demonstration with her. Gary Oldman, the legendary actor, is doing the show, and I'm doing just the craziest demonstrations that I've been working in my 60,000 foot laboratory for many years, employing the best minds to help facilitate the most incredible illusions, not only in Mind Freak Live but on Tricked, October on A&E. That's a huge thing for me, And even more important than that is September 12th, my Heal Every Life Possible Health, which will take place on the stage. And as I said, people can get information. I know you're going to be here. ChrisAngelHealth.com for those who want to make a difference in the world.
Yeah, man, and I really want to thank you for what you're doing. I share, obviously, a deep passion for cancer research and making real strides to ending that. Obviously, at Quest, we're super committed to that. And just, it's such an honor to see how hard you're working and how you make the dollar efficient. It's really, really cool to see, man. So.
Well, I appreciate Quest, and I just want to say one thing. I started eating Quest bars. This is my favorite, by the way.
I promise this was not a setup.
I swear.
All right, that's that. But yeah, I think we should check out like Dylan's Instagram and everything later on today. But I'm working on a Nirvana video of a music video for In Bloom, and matching it up to like so many performances of Nirvana. And doing that, I don't care that I won't get paid. I just want to make a cool video, which is what I really care about doing. And I'll be working on that for the rest of the day. And I will come back on later tonight. We'll all be here. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to get a new charger as well. And we'll look at Dylan Carlson on Instagram. I'll talk to you guys later.